All right, what's going on? Hello, guys. Let me bring my light up. OG is in the house. That's not the good one, but it'll work for now until I get another. Gamer Guru is here as well. Thank you for coming in, Gamer Guru. But good to see you as always, OG off the top. I had all the plans ready to go, and I messed it up. In terms of putting in Discord, it blocked the stream. I tested it last night. Everything was fine, and it blocked me for some reason tonight. So back to the drawing board. But Gamer Guru, thank you so much for coming in. And we have liftoff indeed. We're right in. We're right in. Crystal Lake Fridays. We're starting off the top. We're back. We were talking about doing a watch party tonight, but I figured we start with Crystal Lake Fridays and we'll see what people say later on. We can always just chill and do our normal thing. Plan it for a better day, a better Friday. When it's a bit more pre-scheduled by me. Oh, the Discord overlay is there. So we do have the Discord overlay. But we do not have... I don't have it in my live stream and I'm not live through Discord. So I'm wondering if people can join me still. So we'll see. I hope that's the case. That was the plan, to be able to have people come in and join me on future streams. Whoever wants to jump in while I'm playing, we can talk about the game, we can talk about other stuff. That way it becomes more of a social interaction as on some nights as well. Whoever's up for it. But now I'm going to fill the rest of the time that we're going to wait, because we always have to wait with this game. Everybody's at home. I hope everybody's doing well. We're still going on. Middle of April. Seems to be getting a bit better, everything, in terms of Corona and COVID, so I'm going to mute some people in the chat.
Yeah, quit doing that meow meow meow.
Yeah, let's just mute all those people. How about that? How about we do that, folks? Oh, now this person's talking. There should be just a mass mute function. But we're here. It's the weekend, if you can call what we're currently experiencing weekends. But I'm feeling good. I hope you are too. We're going to settle in for a long night of Friday the 13th. And we'll see where it goes from there. I do have other games in my Steam library. Other horror-related games we could always switch to. 9-6. Whatever that means. Whatever that means. So probably later on we'll test the Discord thing. I'll invite some people in to the chat on Discord, and we'll see if that works, if they can come on to the stream. Because I have the overlay. The overlay works. But the way I tested it yesterday is that I went live with Discord, and then with OBS, I was able to record, so I assumed that it would have the same function going live. But oh.
Oh my god, guys.
I have everyone muted, but they're still talking. Nerd, what's going on? I'm actually on time. You're actually on time. Hope you're doing well. I was just telling OG, I had it all set up to incorporate the Discord chat, like I have a gaming live stream through that so people could come in and talk to me. Everybody just shut up. I'm trying to talk to people. But it didn't work. It blocked my stream for some reason. That is not us. That is part 4. And we're still set to part 8. Gamer Guru says, yeah, with COVID-19, every day is like the weekend now. Yeah, or that it never ends. The week. It just rolls over. I'm fortunate enough to still be working, but it's feels like one long Monday sometimes. But it could be a lot worse, so I really shouldn't complain. All right, Debbie. We'll see how the connection goes tonight, because I know we've had issues before around this time. That's why I came on early last week. We had the connection drop out a couple times. Oh, why did I pick that? Why did I pick that up? Now I need to listen to these morons talking. We'll see what night it's going to be like. What kind of night? If I can make it out of Pinehurst right off the top. Set us up nicely, hopefully. No. Nothing else in there. Let's go over to this cabin. Nerd says he actually hates it. I've got to the point where I watched Ghostbusters 2016 to review it. Oh no, Nerd. You went back, man. You went back in the time tunnel. 2016, I'm leaving that in the past. That movie especially. What's going on, man? Gamer Guru said he ate 6 slices of pizza today and just laid it all out. Hey, man. If that's what you need to do to get by right now, by all means. I've been eating a ton of garbage. Like, it is not uncommon for me to get ice cream every day. Like, literally. I have Wendy's up here. I'm not sure if it's in the States, Wendy's. Could be. But, just checking where the car is. I had a Frosty today, Frosty earlier in the week. I bought a box of drumsticks, a big ice cream sandwich one day. Nerd, of course, bust my balls, but not showing any food, but I feel like I've really eaten well. So, again, I can't complain. Soy, what's going on, man? Soy is in the house. Gamer Guru said, OMG, you watch the feminist Ghostbusters, you must be bored. Now. It's not even 8:15 and the toxicity level in the room is already brimming. But like I said, I've left that movie behind in the past. Much like TLJ. So he says, I ate 2 pieces of pizza and I'm full. That's good to hear, man. No leftover fried chicken. Let's get that in an LB. M says, why would you not eat ice cream every day? Because I like to abuse my body and actually eat healthy. A lot, M. OG says, I watched the newest Predator movie today. Actually, not that bad. Is that The Predator? I saw that in the theater, the Shane Black. I actually did, one of my first reviews I did of that. But it was terrible. Like a terrible quality, so I took it down. We are lagging hardcore. Deborah looks like she's walking in quicksand on my end. I'm not sure which it looks like on your end, but it looks like she's pausing. She has a stutter. Oh, there we go. Soy says he ate those at 1:30 and OG says, but I was really bored. You must have been, man. To go Shane Black Predator. Nerd says, are you insane? Says the guy who's just watched Ghostbusters 2016 to review it. So he says, OG, that explains it. And OG says, possible. Nerd. Oops. Running into... Good to hear, Soy. Gamer Guru says, yeah, I usually eat clean most of the week. I had to go food shopping, and when I got back, I had a real taste for pizza, so I went to get a pie. Nice. We have a really decent local one here. Mega, Jody, when he comes in, he'll ask him about it. He loves it. Royal Pizza, he's a big fan of it. But they actually upped their prices right now. Like maybe their business is hurting, so they upped it. I went to order combo, like two medium pizza, a couple drinks, and a pound of fries. Not a pound of fries, a pound of wings for $20. And it was like one pizza and drinks. It had no... I was like, what? Something's wrong with this math. Like, did the menu change? Am I in the time tunnel? Inti, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming in. Oh, we have gas over there. I have a way to get gas. Uh-oh. I have a way to get Jason on my ass, too. Oh, shit. Both these doors are broken. The thing I hate about part 4 is, or playing against part 4, is how quickly they can break doors. I don't even have a weapon. I just realized I'm running around barehanded. Deborah's like, I'm all that. I'm all that, J-Man. Don't mess with me.
Like that, asshole!
Turn the flashlight on. So it says that was chicken. That chicken was 8 on. Gamer Guru, the Predator game was pretty interesting. Yeah, I did the free preview weekend. It wasn't the worst. It was pretty good. The Predator part was good. And I was starting to get the hang of... I'm not a big fan of, like, the shooter genre. I have some that I like for sure. But I'm not a huge fan.
Should I, shoot him?
Alright, let's... Gamer Guru says my pie was $15 for plain. Well, if it comes from a good place, I usually go to this place because the quality is good, but the price is even better, so... Best bang for your buck sort of thing. M says, you can decline to comment if you want to leave some mystery for your review, but thumbs up or thumbs down on Ghostbusters 2016. Nerd with 75 periods. Or was that occurred over the course of the production of the movie. So it says just in there, it's okay. Ghostbusters 2016 is better than GB. Uh-oh. Here we go, here we go. They're distracting him. I'm gonna try to run out. M says, I understand, no spoilers, I'll wait for the review. That's it. Put the bear trap on the battery after I fixed it. What the hell? This is Deborah. Why the hell does Deborah have 4 checks? Whoa. Take that bear trap out there, Tommy. Monza time already, OG. Off the top. Monza time.
I'm out of here.
really. Oh, stop it.
See you later, bro. Unless you got a morph. Yeah, I was trying to honk my way out. Woohoo! 1 for 1. Fixed the car, ran around without a weapon, and drove out with the take of Tommy. With the help of Tommy. And yes, OG Monza time was successful. 1 for 1. Bam! Peanut butter and jam! Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Trailer Park Boys lately. Just had to lay that one down. Bam! What the hell are you doing, Phil? Nerd says, I think I found the correct way to watch it. That's all I'm saying. Inti says, NPCs are too weak in the Predator game to the point where they're no threat at all to either the Predator or the human soldiers. They need to fix that. Yep. You're right. They're kind of just a distraction, Inti. They kind of just get in the way. Gamer Guru says you might be getting $2,000 per month for 6 months in the near future. Next stimulus. Even us guys that work get it unless they make $130,000 per year. Nice, nice. We have something that's similar to that. I'm up here in Canada, and we have the Canadian Employer Relief Benefit or something. A Canadian Employment Relief Benefit. Of course, we have to make it more difficult than just saying the word stimulus because we're that's still last iota of Britness in us. We still have to be that stoic. But we have something similar, but right now it's only for people that are off. Or if you're only making part while you're off, if they're paying you partially be off, the government will fill you up, that sort of thing, to your full wage. Don't want to. I'm not saying anything inappropriate there. Inappropriate things are said on this stream from time to time, but that wasn't one of them. Let's get back to the chat. M says, I still haven't seen Ghostbusters 2016. I'm more curious to see Captain Marvel, to be honest. I've heard everything but the title character is tolerable.
All done now, Jason.
I don't know. They're both. I saw Ghostbusters 2016 in the theater. I went, and that was at the first start of the wave of social justice and in movies, and I didn't enjoy that. And Captain Marvel, jeez. I went to see that one in the theater, too. Let's just leave it at that. Nerd says, well, that was kicked. Yes! Oh, geez, that's sweet monster escapes. It was. It was. With the help of Tommy. OG says, I saw both and barely survived them. Accurate. And Gamer Guru says, I forgot you were in Canada. No worries, man. All good. I am, definitely American friendly. I'm, in Ontario, somewhat close to the border. I've been in through many of the states, and I'm very much a fan of most of what I've seen. So, every country has its goods and its good and bad things, but I am definitely not what you would call an anti-American Canadian. I'm definitely American friendly. I don't have the Canadian complex. We seem to have this minority complex when it comes to America, or other countries for that matter. They were always better in some way, oh, we're nicer. What? What does that mean? Everybody left the room. M says, oh, you saw Captain Marvel, OG. You can decline to comment if you plan on reviewing it and you want to save some mystery, but thumbs up or thumbs down. Now the room's filling again. Soy says, nerd, you need to try Flamin' Hot dill pickle lays. I want those, man. I love dill pickle. I do that. Mr. Matthews says, Pete has Murica envy. I do not. I don't have the envy, nor do I have the complex. I'm just in the middle. So it says, did you order the kogels? Yeah, the sausages. I still need to get that cheese, Soy. Nerd says, is that a movie or a crisp? Yes, the crisp. Chips to you, Yanks. Yep. Potato crisps. And now we're waiting again. So yeah, to talk a minute about the bits and pieces, thanks so much again, everyone in the chat who's had a chance to watch it and has watched it. I appreciate it. But I've checked out the pre-order for the Friday the 13th game and it's non-existent. So I can't find anything. So the company website doesn't have anything on it about it. So I'm just going to wait it out and hopefully we get some news soon. I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, that definitely has live stream written all over it. Because the only thing I can find for OP is like because I guess they make digital games too, and it's their Steam store. And we're waiting some more. OG says thumbs down, and Soya says chips. Yep, or crisps, one of the two. And OG says double thumbs way down on Ghostbusters 2016. I would agree with that. I just think Captain Marvel is a bit more tolerable. It's just not a very good movie. Brie Larson. That aside, it's not the worst movie, but it's just kind of boring. OG says, crisps are non-essential, nerd. Fine coming. Chips are essential. Jeez. Don't take chips out of my diet, that's for sure. M says, thanks for the translation, nerd. You guys should do that when you're talking about Bog Roll 2. If I hadn't seen Red Dwarf, I'd have no idea what you guys were talking about. True, true. Oh, hey. Somebody's playing Predator clips in the back, so there goes a copyright claim onto this video. Gamer Guru says, I didn't even... Now they're playing Journey. Oh, and I can't mute them. Oh, God. I think I got it that time. Had to unclick it and re-click it. Oh, Journey. Good song, but I don't want it on the stream because I don't want a copyright strike. But no, Gamer Guru says I didn't even bother to go see Captain Brie Larson. I know there's been some further talk about her returning to Star Wars. There was some... I remember last year we were talking about it, that she wanted to be in a Star Wars movie. Now there's hints that she might be in the next Star Wars Disney movie again. The one based on the Old Republic. I don't know. I swear to God if she's Revan. Or if they go that storyline. They wouldn't call it Revan because of course everything's decanonized. They would just rip it off and create a character completely like that. Because of course Bastila would be a guy. Would be a Ov. That's an Ov. Or... something else. And she could play Kreia. She's starting to look pretty close to Kreia's age. Could be accurate. So I'm a little salty tonight. I'm in a good mood and I'm glad to be here with you guys, but just in general, all week long it's been a bit of salt. In the night. Well, might as well sing it if I'm going to get a copyright claim. Nerd says Captain Marvel. Dr. Marvel goes to Earth in her cloak ship that can travel light years to make an engine. To travel light years, the plot. Not inaccurate, nerd, that's for sure. M says, kidding about the America envy, Pete, but are there really Canadians who don't like America? That's too bad. I don't think hardly any Americans hate Canada anymore. There are, men. There's so many brainwashed Canadians that are just drinking the Kool-Aid up here for the mainstream media that don't even know half the thing. They just watch what's on the news, so they don't know half of what Trump's actually saying or what's going on in America right now. They just are fed what's on through Facebook or mainstream media, CBC or CTV. CBC is our public broadcaster, similar to the BBC in America. So there's still plenty of them.
This looks very suspicious.
M says, Soy says, most young Canadians would join the U.S. except they don't like Trump. But again, I think that a lot of that has to do with being fed what's through the media. Oh, we're going in a 4-person match. Okay, so we started off well. Let's see how we do with this 4-person match.
Make them remember, Jason. Make them suffer.
Yeah, when growing up, we always had a good relationship with America. It's just that in the last 10 years, conveniently, along with the rise of other stuff, that this sentiment, this anti-American sentiment started to show up. It's usually driven by politicians on the left. Whoa, what is going on here? Sorry, guys. I'm on my controller, but my mouse is losing it. Gamer Guru says, I want to see a movie with the girl from the Avengers. Are we talking about Black Widow? Because that's coming. Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. And then, what's her name? One of the Olsen twins, Elizabeth. She's got the Wanda movie. I think she's also in the Doctor Strange movie in the Multiverse of Madness. Oh, yes. Yeah, that... OG says kill, 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 kill. I'll try, but there's only 3 people to kill. 1 person. Everybody left. A victory of 1 person. That better not be the radio. I swear to God if that's the radio. Oh, Ray, yes. See, I'm over Gamer Guru. I'm so over the new Star Wars movies, and I'm good. I'm good. I think I've healed enough. Sufficiently. I still haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker, and I have absolutely no plan to. And my outlook couldn't be better because of it. We had enough pain this year with Picard. Nerd can attest to that. He watched every episode 3 times. But I also heard, I did see a story just before I came on, Nerd. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, that LeVar Burton has confirmed. LeVar Burton will be in Picard Season 2. But that was on, like, comicbook.com, so... who knows if that's accurate or not. 1 for 1! Flawless victory!
That's my Jason.
Oh, they all left. I only got 1 for 3.
Special boy.
God darn it.
That's my good boy. Mommy has a reward for you.
Nurse says with those teeth, Ray would have made a great beaver. And Inti says Rise of Skywalker has already been forgotten. And that's the most unfortunate part, guys. That is so true. That the Rise of Skywalker has already been forgotten. Like, this was supposed to be the last Skywalker-based Star Wars movie. I'm over it, but there's still a rant there to be had. Like, this was the last chance. Like, it's been said a million times over. The last chance to get the band back together. And it's a forgettable movie. It's a forgettable movie. Idiots on Twitter and social media will defend it forever because they're just trolls and they don't really know entertainment and they've never really watched anything that's good. Because what they consider as good is marathoning shows like Tiger King on Netflix. They've never watched anything with actual quality. Let me put my nose up a little bit as I say it. Ground myself a bit more. But seriously, like, they can have their movie that'll be forgotten, and in another 5 years it'll be an afterthought. It'll be a complete afterthought. In 10 years they'll go back and they'll be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we forgot this movie. This is so great." And then they're gonna watch it, and inside they're gonna agree, because they'll be like, "This actually does suck. It's shite." But anyways. And he says he hasn't seen it. Soy says I'm not referring to DC's Captain Marvel. Gamer Girl, I didn't even bother going to see the new Star Wars films. I saw the first two. I will say that. Inti says Picard's final episode was the most underwhelming thing I've ever seen. Yep. I'd rather watch Andromeda. I said that earlier on in the season on a stream when I was talking. We were on Jezzer Stream Nerd with Cub, and I think Brent was still there. I would rather watch Andromeda. And I'm serious. That's not a troll. That's not just me using hyperbole. The show is more enjoyable. Because it is not Star Trek. We all know Picard is in Star Trek. And it doesn't cut the mustard. Cliched analogy. Doesn't meet the criteria of being a quality sci-fi movie. Or brainless entertainment. Sorry. I had a brain fart as I was talking about brainless entertainment. It doesn't meet that either. I'm like completely out of words when I talk about that. Perfect. Says I still haven't seen Rise of Skywalker. I'm more interested to see Captain Marvel. To be honest, I would say it's a better movie. Like, it's not better than much, but if we're gonna compare those, like Captain Marvel to the first two Star Wars movies, I'll give it to Captain Marvel. So it says she's a British nerd. Oh, we're still talking about Daisy Ridley. Daisy Ridley. Nerd says killing one is no victory. It's an appetizer. It really is, man. But that's all I got. So we're victory. We are victory. And we'll get that reference. Because it's somewhat in a reference to the thing that he's working on that he's getting me to do a line for. A roundabout reference to the same person we were talking about. Where Gamer Guru says, I'll be damned if I pay to be tortured. Yep. I've done it many times, man. Done it many times, but it's done now. It's all done. Nerd says, don't remind me, soy-based. M says, I've not watched a second of Tiger King. I'll admit it, I've watched 2 episodes. I just to keep in the loop, I have watched some of it, but I'm not in any rush to finish it. Pronunciation. I've been binging The Office instead. Oh yeah, man. I love The Office. It's leaving Netflix this year. That's still one of my favorite shows. Still one of my favorite. I do prefer the American to the Brit one. I'm one of those that but the first 4 or 5 seasons of The Office are fantastic. After that, they're still good. But the first 4 or 5 seasons are fantastic. Can you stop talking, Marigold? I want to just focus on the chat, talk to people, and stream this game long into the night. That's what she said. Sorry, I set that up, totally telegraphed it, but I had to. Oh, looks like we'll get another chance, nerd. No, that's not us. Somebody else. Gamer Guru says, remember corporations pay people to promote films through social media as well. There is no way to verify these Twitter accounts are actual fans. Yep. Agreed.
Gotta find the others.
Agreed. Especially the ones that show up when the movie gets released. It's like a movie comes out October 2019. Account created October 30th. Or September 30th. Just in advance of October. Yeah. Nerd says that Gamer Guru, there are ways not to pay if you sail the high seas. Arr. And have a VPN. Have a decent VPN. Not one of those ones that keep rotating and you have to reset your computer all the time. Hey, but let's get on. M says I'm on season 5 and I've been thoroughly entertained. That is by the time Jim has gotten back. And I think Pam and Jim are more than together at that time. Pretty sure. Season 5. Michael's still there. Because I don't think he leaves till season 7. Sorry, Em, if you haven't watched it before. I kind of spoiled that. Nerd says I would not bother looking for ways to see Captain Marvel or Ray Wars. They should pay me to watch it. Not wrong. Not a wrong way to look at it. Inti says for a good time, check out Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge. I thought it was really good. Reminds me a lot of the first Mortal Kombat movie, but with M-rated violence. They even have X-ray attacks from the recent games. Nice. When did that movie come out?
There, got it.
Deborah. M says I have not watched it before, but no worries. Oh, man. I feel bad now. Sorry, dude. You forget. Just forget. But yeah, I watched The Office when it first aired up to about that point. And then I fell off, and I kind of watched it here and there. And then I didn't watch the later seasons. I watched those on Netflix. And they're better than I remember them being, because I kind of lost interest, I guess, in the show. Oh, it's an animated movie. Indeed, I heard about it by chance. It's a good Mortal Kombat movie. We'll check it out. We shall check it out at the break. I'll bring it up on the chat. Nope. I'll pop that. I'll donate my pocket knife for that cause. Come on, Debbie, fix that phone. Only you have the checks that can do it as quickly. Tommy, call the cops.
I need you to listen to me. Jason Voorhees has returned and he's killing my friends. Oh my God! We need you here right now, please!
Holy
Whoa.
shit! Is that a dead body?
I'm gonna grab these things. The floating firecrackers. Whoa. Oh, damn it. Good thing I picked up that extra first aid spray. Dummied! Dummied, you too slow! Whoa! Ran into a rock. You're just a little too slow, part 8. You got that fast shift, but your body just moves a little too slow. Can I get a baseball bat? Oh, there's an axe. I'll take that. Yeah, I knew he was doing that. Make him waste the morph. Get out of here. Get out of town, man. How do you hit me with that pocket knife? I think we're not going to make it here, guys. I'm doing my best, but I don't like the odds. Oh, odds just went up. Got the old baseball bat.
Damn it! Just die!
Oh, you... Oh, Debbie, you almost did it. You almost made it. Almost made it. Says, despite the fact that I was a Comedy Central addict at the time The Office came out, I was somehow never watched it until recently. We didn't have Comedy Central, so I watched it on NBC. But it is a great show, OG. Agreed. Says, I've been trying to decide who all the characters analogs are in my office. I'm pretty sure I'm Dwight and Michael. For it. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Bad use of the term. That was a bad use of the term for sure. We can't get out of town because of the lockdown, Pete. Thanks for rubbing it in. Well, I will endeavor to use a better jumping through the window, a better term in the future. My Canadian apology side will come out. Oops. Well, now we're just watching. Is everybody dead? I think everybody's dead. Nope. We've got Melissa hiding on a rock and Tommy. You're out of... You guys are escaping and you're goofing off thanks to me. I should be the one goofing off. But I can't really complain. We've had a good start to the game. We played Jason. We killed everybody that was there to kill. I'm going to continue to believe that. And we escaped once. And I'm sticking to that. Mr. Matthews says next time, say no mains. This is where I wish I could go over and get the picture without pausing it. No, there's Jason. Tommy's just jogging it away. Oh, there goes Deborah. Deborah sacrificed herself again. Tommy should be the one sacrificing. That's two Deborahs that have lost their lives in the course of defending this guy. Jeez. And he's supposed to be the hero. And on to the next. Give me back my cursor. I need to look up that Mortal Kombat movie.
Mommy is proud of you, Jason. But it's time to come home now.
All right. Let us not go in there. There it is. All right. Nope. Looks like it came out a while ago. Scorpions Revenge came out, a YouTube video on the 28th of January. Let's see when it came out. 7 out of 6, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. 96% of the film. Oh, just came out April 14th. So that must have been a trailer. That probably was just news on it. So April 14th just came out. Let's go to the Wikipedia page. All right, let's check some images out first. So we've got that. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Scorpion looks pretty sweet. Sub-Zero Scorpion fight. Raiden. Looks okay to me. Might have to check that out. And he says, he's the hero we deserve. But we're not ready for. Oh, I can't remember the name of the game. I had heard it's on the 501 cart, though it's on the back. And I went through the list and I was like, what the heck is this? So I Googled it, and apparently it's a popular pirate game. Not a pirate game, but like a homebrew. Something about Police Dog Lassie. And that's it, Police Dog Lassie. And no, not Solomon's Key this time. That's a dog. It's like a dog that goes around and looks for... Oh, wait a minute. It's just a game now. Before it had like a little load screen where it would have like a... Maybe not.
Hello, guys.
Oh, look. It said failed. So we are dying. The game is starting. There. The robber goes along and plants the diamonds in the ground, and the dog goes along and sniffs it out and finds the diamonds. It's not a bad game. I actually played it a bit. Not today when I first got the thing. Not a bad game at all. For it, it's still loading in. Hello, Chocolate. I'm going to mute you because... Yes, that's it, Gamer Guru. Police Dog Lassie. Apparently it's a homebrew. Like a recent creation. It is not bad at all. Pretty fun game. So yeah, everybody should check that out. And Gamer Guru says that sounds so corny. Yep. Oh yeah. M says that looks like the Solomon's Key fairy. Here, while we're waiting, I'll jump on this one for a bit. Let's grab my NES controller. So yeah, we got you basically go along and you have like a sniffing function where you like dig, not a sniffing, a dig, and you're trying to find. But I think there's also bombs that can kill you, or you run out of time. There's one. I got a diamond. All you're doing is going along and looking for the diamonds. I found the dynamite. There's dynamite. I blew up. I blowed up real good. SCTV reference for anyone who might be familiar. Oh, we have a game. So yeah, it's a very basic game, like super basic game. We're Debbie again. Kimmerguru says, "What's next, Rin Tin Tin?" I'd probably give it a spin, but you know that type of game you play pretty much once.
I gotta get out of here.
We're in a glitch game because we're in Tiffany in her butt shorts. Tiffany's not the worst character, but Deborah definitely plays better. Yikes. Came up empty on the first cabin. There's nothing in there. Gamer Guru says Daisy Dukes. Yup. Warren by no one better than Catherine Bach herself. And we have a battery. Figured there would be something in this one. There's nothing in the first couple. Let's go to the car. Put this in the car. What else have people been watching lately? We're talking about Mortal Kombat, Scorpion's Revenge, or The Legend, Scorpion's Revenge. OG watched The Predator. Nerd watched Ghostbusters 2016 on the heels of watching every Star Trek Picard episode 3 times. You're definitely not enjoying your 2020 so far, Nerd. We had some talk about Captain Marvel. Oops. I've been watching. I was talking about the bits and pieces. I've been watching I've been
this right.
crushing through Ash vs. Evil Dead again. Now that I know it's on Netflix again. I guess it just got added at the beginning of April. I was not aware. I didn't check the list. Normally I check the list of things that are coming. Did not, so been on that. Usual Twilight Zone. I have to use the VPN to get that one. It's not on the Canadian Netflix. M says there was a girl in the grocery store yesterday dressed exactly like that with a face mask. Well, as long as you cover your face. Gotta protect that. That's the important part to protect, I guess. OG with the mask. And Nerd says, I watched the movie Bright to review as well. Bright. I know that, but I can't place the movie. Nerd says, I don't want to spoil my review, but it's not as bad as everyone claims. Somebody called Tommy already. Yep. That's all we've done, though. Do we have an Numlock? Numlock, are you AFK? Or AFG? Away from game? I can't believe there's nothing else in the house. There's car keys up there. Have people been up to these cabins? Chocolate and Smuts just left. M says that Will Smith went Pete. And Nerd says Will Smith and Orcs. Oh, is that the one where he's a cop? Or is that the one where he's fighting orcs? Because there's one where he's a cop and he has like a demon alter ego. I remember that was on Netflix. That kind of looks like Alien Nation, says. Yeah, I think I'm talking about the right one. Maybe not. Nerd says there's a lot of prosthetics, not CG use, so. Well, it earned a couple possible points for me just on the mention of that. I'm all about the real stuff. Just like many of you are as well. Oh, somebody has been up here. And he says Sprite was okay at best. The symbolism was so superficial to the point of feeling like a student film. Alien Nation with James Caan is a better alternative with similar themes. I haven't seen that one in forever, Alien Nation, but I do remember it. Oh, now I've got the phone part. Oh, Numlock is alive. We took too long. We've angered Jason. And he says, wow, I thought not that many people saw Alien Nation. I like the TV show as well. Or was it the TV show? I think it played on like what we had was called Showcase. It was like more of not independent, but less mainstream. And Nerd says the TV show was better than the movie. Or was it on the Sci-Fi? It could have just been on Space. That's probably what it was. On the Space Network. Our Sci-Fi Network. Never mind. Scratch that. That's how I think I came across it. When either watching Voyager or Enterprise as they were airing. It was like on later. Nope. Whoops. Wrong door. Oh, don't want that. Don't want to get that up. Says, I just remember Alien Nation from when I was a kid. My parents never let me watch it. And he says, I saw the TV show. Whoa.
Holy shit! Is that a dead body?
I saw the TV show first. Had a bunch of straight-to-video movies. Years later, I saw the original Alien Nation with James Caan. Come on, Tiffany. Come on, Tiffany. You can do it. Set the alarm without alerting Jason. Just hit the checks without making a noise. This is the hard one. Oh, I just missed it. Like, literally just missed it. There's a little beat for me to sing my song to. I've got so many LBs, this has to be in RB. Nerd says he rewatched Stripes and Trading Places yesterday. Trading Places is awesome. We've got whiskey.
Jason Voorhees has
That's one I
returned,
haven't watched
and
in
he's
way too
killing
long.
my friends. We
I need to
you.
rewatch that
Oh
one.
my God. Oh my God, we need you here right now. Please.
Says I've been wanting to watch Stripes because of Harold Ramis. Oh yeah, Ramis is in that. Ramis is awesome, man. Love Harold Ramis. He's the godfather of so much of that comedy. Like the SCTV, I talk about it all the time. It's like the Canadian version of Saturday Night Live for anyone who might not be aware of it. It was a skit comedy show on at the same time in the late 70s. Well, not the late 70s, the early 80s. I think it started in like 1980. But they had so many good comedians on there. But Harold Ramis was the lead writer. It was the late 70s when it started. It was like 78. He was the lead writer. He was in the first season or so, but then he wrote himself off because he wasn't really comfortable with himself yet in the acting roles or in the being on the show. So a lot of his performances came off like super stiff. But later on, he continued to write the show. Tiffany's got a slow repair. Somebody's repaired the other car. I'm not going to die again. Not this time, J-Man. Not this time, bro. This Tiffany will survive. Apparently I'm dead. TechCom says, I'm back. Need a new invite. Need a new invite to what? The stream? Whoa!
Oh, God.
You are not going anywhere.
Apparently I'm not going anywhere.
Help me.
God damn it.
Please.
How did it hit me?
Anyone.
Nerd says, hadn't seen it in years, still holds up. Oh yeah, man. I can imagine. Tech says Trading Places is one of my stepdad's favorite movies. The only movie where you see Jamie Lee Curtis's boobs. I need some health stat. Says no need, Mega. You have a standing invite.
Hello, bro.
Says I was amazed to see Harold Ramis.
Me again.
Oh God, shut up! A regular office director. Yep. Techcom says, says they were spectacular. Should have done it more often. Well, we had True Lies. We had that dance scene in True Lies. We'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. Tech says on Discord you received an invite, but an invalid invite asked at Dawn for a new invite. Okay, I will send you another one then, man. Nerd says her dance in True Lies was rewatched many times. And M says True Lies is an underrated flick. In my humble opinion, it was, man. True Lies is awesome. It doesn't get the love it should of all the Arnold movies. It's just as good as the other ones. It's great.
Mommy.
Jamie Lee Curtis is great in it. Bill Paxton as the car salesman spy. That character is amazing. Tom Arnold as his wacky partner. And it's still a couple years shy of Buffy, but a young Eliza Dushku. Definitely more watchable when the Faith character emerged in Buffy. And M says not quite on the level of Demolition Man, but close. And he says True Lies is a better action film, but Demolition Man is far smarter than a generic terrorist plot. Yeah, that's for sure. But True Lies has some really good action scenes in it. And some jokes too, like the batteries are dead in the camera.
You couldn't kill me.
And M says, actually replace Demolition Man with Last Action Hero. Yes. To be or not to be.
I let her
Not
go,
to be.
but She tried to kill me. Nice.
Okay, Numlock. It's time for a mute. Alright, let's send Mega Jetty another invite. Says you're in the thing. You're in the Discord. Nem says Demolition Man is brilliant, not even underrated. That's why I had to replace it. What is going on in this room? Am I like in? It's oh, there we go. F13 official EU. Nerd, I'm in the EU. Cub would be proud. I think I'm in the Russian room, personally, based on what I'm hearing in the language. Sounds more Eastern European, but I've made the EU, Cub, if you're listening. And wake up, Brent. Wake up, Brent. I know he's on a break, but I'm still gonna call out, chant, wake up, Brent. Nerd says, be well, be what she said. Tech says, Last Action Hero, Demolition Man, Speed, all great 90s action films that are made like 80s action films. Yep. Yeah, Speed's a great one too. Like Jeff Daniels, that's Keanu Reeves. Partner at the beginning, Sandra Bullock, Dennis Hopper as the bad guy. Inti, you are fined 1 credit for the violation of the verbal mortality statute. Oh, somebody had to. They didn't.
Okay, guys.
That was before he figured out how to use the 3 shells. He needed help with a bog roll, as we talked about earlier. Mute. Mute it and mute it. The suspect has responded with a scornful remark. Please advise. Going back into another room. Will we be Deborah, or will we be... Mega is in the live stream, but it didn't connect. I tried it, Mega. It did not connect for us. Oh! We are Jason. Here we go. Here we go. Fluid transfer is super gross, nerd.
They're here, Jason. Find them.
Oh. All right. Let's see how we do. We're already 1 for 1, so there's nowhere to go but down. So we've already had our perfect run, so no pressure here. Oh, dropped that one a little too close. Because we're on the small map, I definitely want to defend the old homestead. Defend the old homestead. Oh, I'm on the wrong cabin. There's the phone box. And somebody's in there. Whoops.
I can see you.
I can't. What the heck? Guys, what happened there? I'm glitching out hard. We have some super lag. I keep morphing through doors. Who is sucking at putting the battery in the car? Could you be any worse?
You like that, asshole?
What?
Что ты материшься?
No
Вот.
matter what they do,
I'm getting insulted.
you cannot die. You
In
can
Russian.
never die.
Чего вы такие медленные, алло?
What the hell was that?
Find them. Kill them.
Быстрее давайте.
The game is totally broken. I'm a ghost. I don't know what the hell's going on, nerd. That glitch there too. I couldn't defend.
Why won't you fucking die?
They want to hurt you, Jason.
Спасибо, потом скажешь.
Don't let them.
Oh my god. There's a look at the glitch. It's like a glitch on Chad. They've got some fixing. I'm out. Sorry guys. I'm not playing that. I'm not playing their game. That's some they're playing some glitch. That's why it was so lagged. That's why Jason was glitching out, because they're playing with patches on their game. No thanks. We will find another room. I'm not getting dummied by Chad. Nerd says if I ban bacon, I riot. If they ban bacon, I riot. Well, there we go. Quick into another one. Mr. Matthews says we really do need those automatic feel-good machines on every street corner. Inti says that Chad is a hacker. Bernadette's being interesting. But you're right, Inti. That's total hacks. I'm not playing that. There's no way I'm playing that because I'll never catch him. It would be a 1 in a million shot to catch him if it's even possible. And that's why they're just walking, because they want me to try to get you, so I get dummied by Chad. Rage quit indeed. I'm out. Done. Gone. And yeah, Mega, it didn't work tonight, man. I tried to get the Discord chat connected, but it wouldn't let me go live. It isn't connected to the stream. It wouldn't let me connect. I tested it last night where I launched through Discord onto OBS, onto YouTube. Tonight it didn't work. It said the stream cannot connect. Stop streaming. It actually, I had a little thing on my side that said you like stop the stream. So next time, Mega. I'm gonna try it again tomorrow or Sunday with a different game, and we'll try it then. Because I wanted to get, I wanted to get it working, but it's not. You're there, Mega, but I'm just not there. I'll come in with you. So yeah, we're there. I'm talking to you.
Oh, you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I can hear you now, but I don't know if you're going on the stream though.
Oh, okay.
But I can hear you, Mega.
Okay, well that's good. Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure how this worked. I've never done this before.
Yeah, I had looked into it. So basically, sorry to talk the tech on the stream, guys, but to fill you in, Mega. So I had to download an overlay for Discord and OBS, so I got that. Apparently, you're supposed to launch off Discord into Streamlabs and then to YouTube. That's how it works.
Oh, okay.
So I went there. I had everything set up. I went to go live on Discord. It launched, but as soon as I started the stream on OBS, it canceled the Discord stream.
Wow.
So I'm not too sure. But we're getting there. We're making progress. I'll have it ready.
Don't worry. We'll just keep trying it every Friday until we get it right.
Oh yeah. And then people can start coming in and commentating about what I'm playing and talking amongst each other. That way it's more of like a social experience.
Yeah. Just don't be surprised if some of us make fun of you whenever things don't go your way.
Well, that's what I want, man. That's what I want.
Sometimes being made fun of is constructive criticism.
Really is. Oh no, it makes for an entertaining stream. That's the more important thing. I know there's days that I suck. Oh, wait a minute. OG says he hears you. You are audible.
Really?
Yeah, OG says he hears you. So you're here, man. We are connected.
Awesome. We are
Mega,
connected.
yeah, Mega is with us.
Anyone else in the chat hear us?
Not. Let us know in the chat, guys. Everybody, can everybody hear me and Mega? Nerd says I don't like Purple Jason. Looks too much like a hipster.
Kind of like Purple Jason. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I do. It's a callback to the NES one, and
Yeah.
I like the updated music they have for it.
And I definitely think to myself, if they were to make an I Know What You Did Last Summer game kind of like this, it would be cool if they actually made a purple and teal version of the Fisherman Hook Killer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, M says you're totally audible. It worked. The overlay worked, M. Mega, sorry. We are here.
No,
So
okay.
anybody else that might want to join in tonight, you're more than welcome. That's on the Discord. Pop in. Feel free.
Okay. I actually have headphones on, so if I do sound a little loud, that's because I'm trying to sound normal, but at the same time be loud enough that I can hear what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
I did mute the stream because I don't want to risk hearing the feed on the stream then. So
Oh, yeah.
I can't-
Yep.
Yeah. watch, even if the stream is a little behind by a few seconds, I'll watch.
OG says, Mega said we would make fun of Pete, and we so would.
Hey, Scotty, welcome.
There you go. And Nerd's throwing a little salt your way as well.
Ah, well, we all deserve a little salt. Question is, where's the pepper?
Scott retracted his message for some reason.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Scotty says, when Pete's streaming, I must click.
Ah,
And I've got a guest on the stream tonight talking, commentating, and critiquing my play. So, open invitation to anyone for a future night that's on the Discord. We can always have some people in.
don't get me wrong, I like the chat, but it's nice to actually, you know, speak to each other, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, actually, the character you're playing as, what's her name, Deborah?
Yep.
Yeah, the colors on her sweater, I actually have a co-worker who has shoes with the same colors. You know, the black, the purple, and the teal greenish blue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had to tell her that she's wearing 80s colored shoes.
Well, that's what they are.
I
Good.
know.
Sounds like good shoes to me.
Yeah. Time on Amazon, I found a T-shirt with the old 80s style plastic cup design on it that had like, it was like a white cup, but it also had the purple and teal colors on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was like a painted color of sort.
All right. M says, Nerd C, this would be what we need to do for Jez's stream. It would be awesome. Yep, when he's doing Resident Evil, or we're gonna do some other like retro streams, have some people in.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I look forward to that. I'll gladly be part of that.
Hello there. Does anyone hear me?
Nerd! Nerd is with us! We can hear you. It shows you're on mute, but I can hear you.
And the Crystal Lake Fridays stream has evolved.
It has, it has. What really sucks though is that the overlay isn't properly working because on YouTube, I should be able to see your names as well on the broadcast. So I need to fix that. So I'm not quite there. We're getting there. This is a step in the right direction.
When I clicked on your icon, I had to scroll down between text channels and voice channels.
Yeah.
I clicked on gaming live streams.
Yeah, that's where this one will come up. I've connected it through Discord that anytime I do this one, it'll come up through there.
Awesome.
Hello? Hello? Oh God, help us! Jason's
I did
real!
manage to find the
Please help
80s
us!
cup I was telling you
Jason's
about.
alive!
Okay.
Please help
It
us!
actually, yeah, like I said, on Amazon one time, I actually found this particular design on a T-shirt. And I said to myself, one of these days, I'm going to save up enough money to get it.
Nice.
I'll copy it, and I think I'll actually DM it, if that's okay, because I don't know if, I'm worried if I click away
I'm doing
to
this
the chat version of this Discord, it might actually accidentally cut me out.
Gotcha. No worries.
If you hear some jazz in the background, that's just my stepdad listening to the radio.
Okay, no problem. I cannot hear it.
And it's good music. I love jazz every now and then.
Oh yeah, man. I do enjoy jazz myself. Good to listen to. There's some good channels on YouTube, but there's also some good radio stations as well.
Yeah. In fact, one of the channels we like to listen to happens to be both a jazz station and an orchestra station.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
That's what I'm listening to now.
Yeah, what's the channel?
WRTI. It's Temple University Public Radio in Philadelphia.
Nice.
You catch that?
I did.
Yeah.
Public radio for Temple University.
Yeah.
Mr. I says OG crew. What's going on? Mr. I, thanks for coming in. We are here. We are ready.
Jason's at Turtle Pond.
Jason's at Turtle Pond or Jason's a Turtle Pond? No, at Turtle Pond. Oh, wow. It's glitching hard tonight.
Game?
Yeah, it's got a lot of lag in it tonight.
Oh, is it the actual game itself, or is it just the lobby you're in, maybe?
It could just be the room, but I think it just might be the connection like we've had in previous weeks.
You like
And
that,
I did
asshole?
see what you were talking about, how those Russian dudes were glitching and cheating.
Oh, God. Yeah, they were hacking hard.
I'm out of here. Good luck, guys.
Hacking, and not in the I'll hack you to bits kind of way.
Yeah, exactly. Not the good Jason way.
I don't know what that
Not the
means, but
computer
okay.
way.
Hi. Why do you say that?
Damn it! Just die!
Oh, you got wrecked, bro. Just got your ass handed to you.
Which, alright, we'll go this way. Hopefully he follows the crowd. Get myself a weapon. So the four-seater's fixed. No car battery. I mean, no car keys that I see anywhere, though. Oh, man. There's only 2 other people still alive. Everybody's left.
Oh boy. The fewer people there are, the easier it is for Jason to kill you.
Pretty much. M is in the chat now. We've got,
Welcome, Em.
got a full crew. I think he's still connecting. I'm just gonna wait it out in this cabin, I think. Yeah, I'll go down to the house.
Well, just remember, if Jason comes a knocking, you just play Ring Around the Rosie around the table.
Pretty much. Until the time runs out to go
Just make sure that
check.
sure that he doesn't try to throw the dagger at you. Otherwise, that'll definitely mess you up.
Mm-hmm.
Throw it. Just make sure it doesn't connect.
M tried to get in. He said his mic wasn't working.
Oh.
No, we couldn't hear you, man. Could not hear you.
I heard the bleep of you popping on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was all.
Scott is out. He says he's gonna go do a stream, a hangout night stream. Feel free to join, and everyone else too. Sounds good, man. Thanks for popping in as always. Have a good night, Scott.
I don't know if I'll be able to make it, because probably by the time this stream ends, it'll probably be late and someone will be going to bed. So, but I will at least try to pop in and even if try to comment in the chat, depending on which computer I'm on. So, right now I'm on the laptop, which seems to be more up to date, but the other computer, it's like so old. None of my chats go into the actual chat.
Oh yes, I remember you saying that. You had that experience
I like
previously on YouTube.
Whether I'm on the old classic studio format or the new YouTube studio format, it don't matter. I type in the chat, I hit the enter button, but it doesn't go, and it just doesn't go through. Unless it's a super chat.
Well, yeah, of course those go through. YouTube allows those through.
Yeah. Computer's old, really, but I understand the window. It doesn't like update Windows XP or anything like that anymore. But sheesh.
We're just gonna hang out here and wait. Less than a minute left. Hopefully the police show up at this one.
I mean, that sucks, when you're waiting by an exit, hoping that's the one, and then it turns out it's the one on the opposite side of the map.
Well, yeah, that is the worst feeling, but it's the best when it's the opposite, when you're there and it is that one.
Definitely.
Or when you're like getting hacked and you're barely hanging on and you're making your way and you finally get to the exit and you're right there before he gets you and it's not when you get out. You're just like, yes. It's like, no, 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 thank you. Not tonight, Jason. Not tonight.
I gotta say, for the free trial free beta trial weekend of Predator Hunting Ground, I really enjoyed playing that.
Oh, I did too. It was a very good game.
Oh yeah, it just sucks that my progress made on that will not carry over to the game itself when I get it.
We were talking about it a bit before you came on. The only thing that I had an issue with is the NPCs were a little too easy. They need to make them. They need to beef them up a bit more.
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes you want to take out, when you're trying to take out the, the gorillas, it kind of leaves you vulnerable to the predator. And then when you try to take out the predator, the darn gorillas can easily take you out.
True enough. It's just
yeah.
So I was just going to address the chat for a minute. Mr. I says Boob Tube. April 24th is the release. Yep, of the of Predator Hunting Ground. M says that was lame. My wife says iPhone headphones work as a mic. They should. Maybe just not on YouTube, but they do work. I know that. Actually, they do work. Maybe not on Discord, but I've used them on YouTube because I've done live streams with my phone. I did like the ones when I was in Walmart for Halloween movies. I did that with my phone with the headphones on. So they do work.
I already know what I'm going to call when I finally get the Predator Hunting Grounds game, because I'm going to have to save up a lot because this whole Corona thing, it's, hurt my funds a little.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yeah. But basically, when I do get the game, when I finally do, I already know what I'm going to call the nights I choose to stream the game. I'm going to call it, Welcome to the Jungle!
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I know AC/DC or Guns N' Roses had nothing to do with the music in that film, but it seems fitting.
Definitely. I've never tried to use a Guns N' Roses song, so I don't know how anal they are in terms of copyright claims.
I'll just use a snippet, like at the end of the song, where he says, Welcome to the Jungle, and then, It's gonna bring you down!
Or or you could do the live intro where it's like, welcome to the jungle, baby. You're gonna die. Or Time to Die. Mr. I says, what camera do I use to stream? Did ya? Sorry.
You go first.
Logitech. I was gonna say Digitech. I'm not too sure which level. I remember I got it a couple of years ago as a present. It's a decent one. I enjoy it. So, but a Logitech camera.
As well. I got a Logitech as well.
We are out. We made it. Dubby survived.
Yeah. And that cop car is literally blocking the whole road. It'll be amazing for him to actually be able to pull out.
Well, they haven't moved yet.
Yeah. But congrats on surviving that one.
Thank you. I had some help there, so definitely had some help.
And the other side of the map, of course.
Well, yeah, I made it to the other side. But Tommy helped there, and somebody called the cops. I did next to nothing in that game.
But now Tommy is hiding in the outhouse. I'm guessing that Jason's gonna take him out in the outhouse.
Yep.
4 minutes. Can they actually survive that long?
Nah, I think he's just gonna run to the cops.
Jason's gonna find him in the outhouse and kill him.
No, he's out of the outhouse and he's all the way there. He's trolling. He's doing the thumbs up. So he's probably still carrying the pocket knife.
He's got a flare gun, I see.
Yep.
Oh, well,
And the pocket knife.
Eat him.
Paul Haddad, voice of Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil 2, dies at the age of 56.
Oh, wow.
What's that?
I don't know how he pronounces his
The guy who voiced Leon Kennedy in the original Resident Evil 2
Oh yeah.
just passed away.
Oh no. That's a terrible, terrible news and a loss to horror games. I was talking about that this week, that they're working on Resident Evil 4, the remake. So.
Oh gosh. No, okay, look. I will say this: Resident Evil 4 has already been like done up the wazoo.
Yep.
It doesn't need a remake.
Yep.
Resident Evil Code Veronica, probably yes.
Yep. I agree.
I mean, here's the thing. My two favorite Resident Evil games were 2 and Code Veronica growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I understand some of the complaints for the original Code Veronica. Like, people like to complain about how they found Steve annoying. But see, here's the thing. Part of that annoyance was done deliberately because he had character growth.
Mm-hmm.
He was an annoying brat who was untrustworthy, but by the end of it, he came off as like a kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio's Jack Dawson from Titanic. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and in fact, they even designed him to look like Jack Dawson in that. You know, his hair had the same look, but then when they went back in Code Veronica X, they changed the hair to make it less obvious. Yeah, he was meant to be annoying so that he could grow into a better character, and now they don't even try to bring him back as a even better character.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, if they want to remake that, then yeah, remake it to where he's a little less annoying and more heroic. This way, when he, you know, if they do his death at the end, it actually, you know, hits you in the feels.
Well, they'll get to that. It's all like cash cow at this point. They're just going through the series, so I'm sure they'll do Code Veronica. Nerd said, I survived the game, so now I need to write a book about it and make millions of dollars. I could totally do that. So here's Inti talking about Resident Evil 4. The only thing about Resident Evil 4 that needs to be perfected is a weapons wheel, so you don't have to pause the game every 5 seconds to switch between grenades and weapons. So can't disagree with that.
I will say this, Resident Evil 4 isn't too bad. I mean, I like that they, you know, tried to do something a little different, but here's some things that they did that I did not like. First off, Resident Evil Code Veronica was the last game we played before Resident Evil 4. We were supposed to be taking on Umbrella. But then right in the middle of the opening narration, they say Umbrella died a year before the events of the game. And it's like, what? You're saying we're now playing a new adventure where the enemy we were going to take down is now gone? What the hell? And then basically after the fall of Umbrella, you know, we're now fighting new monsters made by a parasite. What happened to the classic George Romero zombies from the T-Virus?
Yep.
That's why, I mean, I still would have I would like, if they do a Resident Evil 4 remake, I want them to try and do it differently where there is no Las Plagas. It's just a bunch of zombies, you know, from the T-Virus. Like, you know, they're trying to, it's still the same story. You know, he goes to Spain to find the president's daughter. There's like a cult leader trying to put a parasite in her.
Mm-hmm.
But the most of the zombies are in fact T-Virus zombies, not the, you know, not these parasite types. That's what I would do differently.
No, I agree. Mr. Matthews was trying to join us there again. I almost heard him. I think I almost heard him talking, or like the sound of him trying to. Like
yeah, I mean, I can see the icon there.
But it was highlighting as well. Like when it's green when we're talking, like I could see it was highlighting. So it's recognizing it, but I'm not too sure.
Well, there should be like a microphone button. So if there's no line going through it, then that means that it's already on.
Yep.
So okay.
It is, and he's not muted, but neither of you guys are muted, and your volumes are fine. So
good.
Inti says, remake Resident Evil Outbreak. That game had so much potential, but it was limited by tank controls and camera angles that were not suited for multiplayer game.
My real issue with Outbreak was the fact that while you're in the you're like in the item menu, you can still be attacked by zombies while you're trying to like, you know, automatically reload your weapon.
We are not finding any game. Close that lobby. I'm just going to do an offline game while we look for a real room. Offline bots it is. Change up the Jason.
I can already point out something that was done with RE2 and RE3 remake that was sort of a bad retcon of sorts. You know how classic, 90s and 80s movies had like cars made from that era?
Yep.
Watch Halloween 4, you'll see that the cop cars in that movie looked very different from police cars of today. Police cars of today are like all cars. They have rounded corners.
They were period specific.
Yeah. You had some of the cop cars look period specific in the Resident Evil remake games, but there was these occasional white cars that stood out. There was like a bright white car every here and there that was rounded all around. It looked like a car of
Kill
today
them all,
in
Jason.
a 90s setting. So that's the continuity throw off right there.
Gotcha. No, I agree with that. Inti says, to be fair, RE4 came out at a time where if the franchise didn't evolve past the Romero zombies, it would have stagnated and died. RE4 is one of my all-time favorite games. And Mr. Matthews says, super frustrating that the mic didn't work because he wanted to correct you, Mega, about Resident Evil 4. So we need to get him on stream on a future date with the mic working so you can have that discussion.
Understandable. But I mean, like I said, I'm not bashing Resident Evil 4. I'm just pointing out the few critiques that I have.
And these...
The game. I play when I do get around to putting my PlayStation 2 back together, I will definitely be playing that again.
It's
just
one of the,
because I want to get all the goodies and such. I mean, I beat it several times, and I still have yet to get that futuristic cannon weapon that you use, and I want to.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Mr. Matthews went on to say RE4 is one of my all-time favorites. Almost a perfect game in his opinion.
I definitely played a lot of Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition. I definitely enjoyed that game. I understand it's...
Come here, AJ.
There are some people who criticize that, but I really enjoyed that one just a little bit more than RE4. Because even though they continue with the parasite zombies running around using guns and such, they at least brought the classic characters of Chris, Jill, and Wesker back.
Exactly. Oh. Sorry about that, AJ. It just had to happen.
That's my Jason. That's my special.
You fighting against bots right now?
Yeah, I'm on the offline bots. I am playing the bots.
Oh, and that's the thing too. You hit the button. You probably shifted the controller to aim at her, yet he's still aiming in the direction he was facing.
Yep.
Ooh, made an even bigger gap between her legs. Ooh. Seems like a lot of people nowadays like playing as Part 4 Jason.
He's good to break down the doors, that's for sure. He breaks down his doors really fast. He's got the best destruction in the game. I'm kind of lukewarm on him. Like, he's got some good kills, and he does jog, but his shift is garbage. So...
The biggest issue is with any version of the zombie Jason from Part 6 onward is that he can't run.
Yep. I'll trade the running. I'll trade the jogging for the better shift.
Yeah.
But some nights my shifts aren't the best. I struggle with them. But when I'm on, when the shift is on, then like that part 7 and 8, Jason are very OP.
Oh God!
Well, I don't know if you noticed or not, but there is actually an easy way to get out of a shift if you do it right. If you hit either the attack button or the grapple button, that'll automatically pull you out. And then but you gotta like quickly hit it again immediately after that in order to actually perform the action. I know how my stuttering kind of makes me sound like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park.
All good.
Life.
Inti says, plus Chris punched a boulder in the liver in Resident Evil 5.
But he earned that. Remember, in Resident Evil Code Veronica, Chris was. See, here's the thing. I saw somewhere in like an article that kind of compared Chris to like football players. In the very first Resident Evil, he was the high school jock, but by Resident Evil 5, he's the NFL star quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, he earned. There is over the top as a scene. That whole thing of him punching a boulder, that's actually he earned that because by Resident Evil Code Veronica, you know, he practically went toe to toe with Wesker in a hand-to-hand combat, but he just wasn't good enough. Wesker was stronger and faster than him thanks to that virus he was injected with, and so Chris needed to try and gain an edge or an advantage against Wesker. He couldn't be faster than him, but at the very least, he could be as strong as him. That's why he bulked up between the whole supposed death of Jill and the incident in Africa, because he bulked up so that way he'd be ready to face Wesker at least at even strength.
But to that point, Mr. Matthews in the chat said, because realism and stuff, I can agree that it's one of the steps in Resident Evil. It's like Resident Evil's not a very believable game to begin with, but that one's a little over the top. I see your point as well, Mega, but
Yeah.
punching
And
a boulder and hurting it.
Trying to hurt it, he was just trying to put more leverage into pushing it off its current position and into the lava to create a bridge for Sheva to jump over.
And
because if he didn't push that boulder, she'd be trapped with Wesker and he'd have killed her. So he was like desperately trying to punch the boulder to get it into the lava and create a bridge.
Oh yeah, no, I hear you. And Inti says, in RE5, Chris ate all the steroids in the Umbrella Corporation. Mr. Matthews is trying again. Yes, you're here, man.
You can hear me now? Okay.
You are here, so take it over.
I actually had the microphone turned off on the Discord.
Okay, that is it. Yep, done that before.
With respect, I disagree with everything you said about it. With respect.
Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm just gonna turn the music volume down a little bit for you.
Okay.
So you can talk it out. So there we go.
What he was saying was correct. That the franchise was definitely starting to stagnate a little. Well, not a little bit, a lot. I don't know if anyone actually. I know that the Code Veronica actually has a really strong following, but it's not nearly as well regarded as like Resident Evil 3 or Resident Evil 4. So I could see why I don't agree with it, but I could see why Capcom skipped over Code Veronica to remake Resident Evil 4. I think it's dumb. So obviously they remade Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3 to play more like Resident Evil 4, and now they're remaking Resident Evil 4 to play more like the remakes of Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, because I mean, Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake were already made to play like a Resident Evil 4 game.
Right, so it seems a lot redundant. But at the time, Resident Evil 4 was almost like I hesitate to say it was a soft reboot, but it was kind of a soft reboot for the series.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see why they're like, everything's different now. We took away Umbrella, and now there's new, the Las Plagas, and they did try to kind of work that back into the Umbrella mythology.
Yeah.
More, I guess they kind of beefed it up a little bit with like the Ada Wong playthrough.
Yeah.
Where it shows that Wesker was actually after Las Plagas to replace the G virus or whatever they were up to at that point.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I understand that it kind of needed to do something different from the usual zombies to try and bring some life back into the franchise. It's just that now, after that, it's like it also felt like they were distancing themselves from what made the franchise what it was. Because the franchise was built on being inspired by Romero films and even The Shining.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
don't know if it,
Sorry.
I can see what you're saying. I just don't know if that's really because I love Resident Evil 4 that so much. I don't know if that's really a bad thing since they've already I feel like they might have felt like they had played it out, and audiences were now getting tired of that. So they tried to reinvent the wheel, and they go out of their way to tell you it's not an old Resident Evil game. Right at the very first enemy you see, the caption is "It's not a zombie." So, but I could see where if you're a purist.
I wouldn't exactly say purist. More like I know the differences. I like some of the changes, but I also will always try to compare it to the original.
Resident Evil 4 and the Resident Evil 1 remake on the GameCube. Those are the first ones I played, and I played them both at the same time, and I loved them both. Obviously Resident Evil 1 was scarier, but Resident Evil 4 just stuck with me better, I guess.
Yeah. The first game I played was Resident Evil 2. Mostly, that's it's a combination of my dad and a habit I kind of have. Whenever I get into a franchise like Terminator or Alien or Resident Evil, it's always the second installment that I get into first. Then I go back and watch the first one that led into it,
Yeah, I can see that. I do the same thing.
While I do admit the first installment does seem a little inadequate compared to the sequel in those franchises, I have, now as a grown-up, I've realized that there is something to those first installments that that should not be overlooked. If it wasn't for the first installments, we wouldn't have had the great sequels.
To go to the chat for a minute. Sorry, I'm just saying the chat. Inti's talking about people bash Resident Evil 5 a lot. I liked it. RE4 was better, but 5 is pretty good. It's better than 6. RE4 needs no remake. Just give it the weapon wheel.
Resident Evil 6, the only real good campaign in that was the Leon one because it felt the most like classic Resident Evil with horror and classic zombies. All the action scenes just like took over that movie, and it was more of an action film, less of the survival horror.
What do you think about that, Em?
I never played Resident Evil 6. I super did not like Resident Evil 5, and that killed the franchise for me. So when Resident Evil 6 came out, even seeing Leon in the trailer, I was like, that Leon looks different. I'm totally not going to try it at all. So,
what is it about Resident Evil 5 you didn't like?
I did not see, at least with Resident Evil 4, even though it was not as scary nearly as Resident Evil 1, it still had those moments, like the hedge maze and the sewers and the entire laboratory in the island. There were still parts that were very scary, at least very creepy and atmospheric. Resident Evil 5 had none of that. There was a moment where they went into the lab where all the liquors were. I almost got excited, like, oh, it's gonna get scary now, and it did. All the liquors broke out of their little cage, and they weren't a threat at all. It never.
Well, really, actually, technically they were a threat because if it's like your first playthrough and you don't have all the super powerful guns like rocket launchers and such, you get to the end of this tunnel where there's an elevator. And the elevator's taking its sweet time to start up, so you basically got to keep the liquors from reaching you and killing you long until the elevator finally closes. So that kind of had a tension moment there.
I only played it through it the one time, and I was disappointed that the liquors weren't. I didn't struggle with that. The only part I struggled with was the ending because you have to go through that entire gauntlet, and if you turn off the game. When you're at Wesker, you can't go back to that point, so you have to play the entire ship all over again, which is a very difficult part of the game. I did not like that, and yeah, I did not. I thought it was ridiculous that Chris was trying to move the boulder by punching it. He went through several attempts to move it by like traditional methods, by pushing it, kind of give it in the shoulder. Then you gotta punch it. That was ridiculous.
You're saying if he had tackled it instead of punching it, it would have probably worked better.
It might not have killed the game for me if he had done that.
Okay.
No, I thought that was... But by the time we got to that point, I was so frustrated with how long the end game was,
Yeah.
and how many times I had to go back from to the very beginning. And I did not like that there was a companion all the way through the game.
I didn't mind the idea of having a companion, because this way, if there are items that you want to bring along with you, but you don't have enough room, you can always give it to the ally to hold on to, provided they're not dispensable ones.
Here's the other thing, though. Resident Evil 5 came out right at the very beginning, like before. It was announced before the PS3 and the 360 came out, and that was how I decided what system I was going to get. Whichever system Resident Evil 5 was going to come out on first, that's what system, and it was the 360. And while I was waiting for Resident Evil 5 to come out, I got Gears of War, which was an excellent game, and obviously very, very, very inspired by Resident Evil 4. And in that point, in that context, I totally liked the companion all the way through the game, and it still managed to be atmospheric. So when Resident Evil 5 came out, and they were basically trying to be like Gears of War, only they did not keep the tension or the I don't think they did the partnership very well.
I never played Gears of War, so I wouldn't know what that's like. But I will say
really
that, like I said, there are pros and cons with the ally system. I mean, yeah. On the pro side, they can help carry some extra items that you want to bring along but don't have room for. But the con is the AI for the ally. It's bull crap, because when I'm like getting the crap beat out of me by these monsters, either they're off somewhere else dilly-dallying while I need help, or they get themselves injured and I'm too busy to help them, or they get themselves killed.
In the chat, sorry guys, Inti goes on to say, the biggest sin of RE5 is that it's very derivative and uninspired, but he liked punching the boulder.
I'm pretty petty though, so yeah.
Hey, everyone needs a little pettiness every now and then.
Oh, we all have it. We all have it. Every Friday, you guys listen to me talk about it here. About this game, playing with little kids or Russian players with hacks on Chad. I'm not sure what that was about. I've never seen that hack before. That was a new experience.
Yeah.
I've seen the rifle. I've seen the rifle hack where they float around with the shotgun. I've seen a baseball hack, the swinging one where they teleport, but I've never seen that one.
Of course, you've seen the rooftop hack.
Oh gosh, don't remind me, Mega. That's from way back. They got rid of that, and then in an updated patch, it came back. That was the worst back in the day. That was back when the game launched, and it was so bug filled. They had to put out like a Twitter account for people to report players. It was so broken.
So let me ask you this: has the settlement been reached so that they can finally get back to updating this darn game?
Nope. Because everything that was going on with the coronavirus, it was supposed to be this month. They were supposed to finish the readings this month and have a settlement by June. Well, a judgment, not a settlement. It was supposed to be a judgment by June in terms of going to settlement, but everything's on hold right now, so we're back up in the air.
Coronavirus, it's done some good, and it's done a lot of bad.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Inti's again talking RE4 this time. He says the biggest evidence for the greatness of RE4 is when you realize how many games it was inspired since it came out, like Gears of War, like you mentioned, Dead Space, and The Last of Us.
So Last of Us came out long after RE4.
But it went on to inspire all of those.
Oh, that's what he meant. Okay.
And I wasn't, in terms of 6 for me, I wouldn't call it pettiness. I just moved on to other series by that time, so I did not go back and play 6. I still have yet to play 6.
What I've seen of 7, I mean, it's nice that they get back to where their roots with being isolated in a big house in the woods, away from civilization. But I do feel that some of the monsters were very inspired, because I mean, it's just one type of creature, the mold, but in different shapes.
Well, we were watching, Jez was streaming that a couple weeks ago, wasn't he,
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7? Yep.
I saw that too, yeah.
It wasn't the worst.
Chat, Mega. I really like Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
And I see what you're saying because it was. Yeah, you're right. There was only 2, maybe. Was there more than 2 enemy types in the game? There was just like the walking molded, then the crawling ones. I guess the bugs.
Yeah, I mean, well, at least 3 different types of mold, and then there were the bosses constantly
Oh, that's right, the big
stalking
fat
you.
one.
But the bakers, yeah.
See, I really thought the Bakers were really well done. I loved Jack Baker was a great character. So
Psychotic and disturbed like when throughout most of the game, but then at the end when you have that moment of seeing the man he really was before he got mad crazy, you're like, oh damn, that hurts. That hits in the feels.
Yeah, I thought his character was really well done all the way, and he probably sold the game for me probably about 50%. But I actually did like the setting and the gameplay. I did not like the 2 main characters. I thought Ethan was an idiot, and he was an idiot to go for what's her face. He should have just taken the hint and gotten remarried after 3 years. So.
Well, maybe the protagonist, the writing of the protagonist wasn't great, but still, but that's the point. I think that was deliberately the point. It doesn't matter how well they're written they are. It's that you are in control of these characters trying to survive. So, I think that was the point of it.
Yeah, except for I also did like the shift to the first person perspective. But the caveat there is that when you put it in that perspective, you are essentially becoming the main character. So then when you have... That's why, in most cases, the character you're playing as in the first-person games, they don't have any dialogue because you are the character. Samus doesn't talk in Metroid Prime. You are Samus. So when you have a first-person character giving dialogue during the entire game, it really took me out of the experience. It felt like there was some person following along behind me saying stupid shit.
In the chat, sorry, just to catch up on the chat, Inti's talking to you guys about it. First he mentions that he remembers in a stream I've had about another Friday the 13th bug of Bugsy flying in a wheelchair. I do remember that, flying around in the wheelchair. But then he goes on to say RE7 is a good. It was more like the first Resident Evil, more a horror experience than schlock action. In RE7, there were the Bakers and about 4 molded variants. It did have a lack of enemy variety and made up an atmosphere.
Agreed.
And that's another reason why I kind of felt like Resident Evil changed a little too much with RE4 is that not only did you lose the Romero zombies, you lost the other classic monsters like the Licker, the Hunter, the Crows, the Spiders. These were classic. There was a classic variety of monsters created by the T-Virus, and yet the when RE4 decided to do the whole parasite monsters, they basically forgot about the classic variety.
Yeah. It just depends on whether you see that as a good or a bad thing, because you're right in the sense that at least in Resident Evil 5, I don't know about Resident Evil 6, those monsters are all based on the Resident Evil 4 monster selection, not anything before it.
You only had like one returning classic monster in RE5, and that was the Licker. That's
right. Everything else was basically straight out of, just with different graphics a little bit, was straight out of Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
It just, I guess, it just depends on your perspective. I didn't really mind that. There were a lot of other things I didn't like about Resident Evil 5 I wasn't going to get hung up on.
Yeah. And one of the things I do feel that was sort of missing with the RE2 and RE3 remakes is seeing some infighting among some of the monsters, because we know that's true because in classic RE3, when you first enter the hospital as Carlos, there's this zombie staggering out from behind a counter, and all of a sudden you hear the shrill of the hunter, and it leaps and slashes the head off the zombie. So obviously the hunters kill the zombies as well. So I always wondered who would win in a fight between a hunter and a Licker, because The hunter was the big bad arse of the first game, but then RE2 comes along and they have a new big bad arse in the form of the liquor. So they're both giant. They're both monsters that like to leap through across the air and slash at your throat. So, who wins in that fight?
We're just stuck here waiting in a load screen, but while you guys were talking there, I was chuckling to myself because sometimes when I'm on here, you guys know I read the players' names to kill time. But the top player in the name, I'm not reading that top name.
What's that? What's that player's name?
I'm not reading that. How does that exist? How is that not banned?
Can you report him?
I could. I'll get on that Twitter account if it's still open.
Is there a polite Canadian version of that name?
Frack.
Frack. There is a kid-friendly version of it. It's called Screw You.
I think. Oh, there we are. We're on another glitch game, guys. I'm Vanessa.
Oh.
I've glitched out again.
You tried to select Johnny Lawrence, didn't you?
I did. I had selected Johnny Lawrence, but we are Vanessa. Johnny's in the house. Speaking of Johnny's, Johnny's here. How's it going, man? Inti says liquors have range. They win.
Hello, Johnny. Here's Johnny.
I knew that was coming.
Almost like you were playing as an invisible character.
I was. I really was there for a second. Yeah. I was like levitating, and then I popped onto the screen.
If you remained invisible like that, then chances are Jason wouldn't see you.
When I first started playing this game, I played as Vanessa all the time. She was my favorite character. Like, she's got the best base stamina stats. So I would run and find the items and drop them at the, whether it be the phone piece at the phone box. That was my usefulness. When it was a real multiplayer game and I knew people, which I do still know some people that play it, but not as many, where we would have a group of 8 people that I would know. And then we'd go, and we'd all have roles. Like, you'd be the searcher, you find this, find the items, put it in the car. You'd be the fixer, you do this. And that was before, like, they really watered the game down, because back then you needed that. You had to have it organized, because once Jason came towards your counselors, you were done.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, I do have a question.
Yep.
While you were trying to walk me through my technical difficulties, were you saying you use the iPhone headphones when you were streaming the Atari games?
Not the Atari games. For the Atari games, I just use like the PlayStation microphone that comes with the controller. Mm-hmm. But what I use the Apple headphones for, the earbuds, is when I do live streams in places. So I did 2 videos. I haven't done one in a while. I did one last Halloween at Walmart, just looking at movies. That's what I use it for. So when I'm on my iPhone and if I'm doing like an on the scene, like live stream, then I'll just use the headphones. All right. Car battery.
Topic change. I had Rosanna's pizza today.
Nice.
I like all your pizza updates, Mega.
Yeah, it's part of the night. It's really part of the... Before you came in, I was talking about that, Mega. I was going to get Royal, but they upped their prices this week for some reason, so I did not get it.
Up their prices?
They did. They did my location, so...
Oh, don't know if they did in Carbondale, because, like, how long is it again from here to Carbondale, bud? A 20-minute drive from here to Carbondale just to get the Royal Pizza.
All good. I had fried chicken for dinner tonight.
Still want to.
Oh God!
Oh.
Putting the bear trap behind the door.
Oh. Yeah, I am still hoping for a time to come where when we get a pizza, I'll also get some sweet and sour chicken. Put the chicken on the pizza.
Yes.
That way I can have sweet and sour chicken pizza.
So that seems like a really easy experiment just to do.
Yeah.
Get like pizza one night and then get Chinese takeout the next night, and on the third night,
you put your hands together.
Yep.
Ah, that's a good idea. Anyone ever dip their sweet and sour chicken into the red sauce?
Like mix the two together? That's like crossing the streams. I've never done that. Would it really like stick? Would it stick on the chicken? Wouldn't it just slide off? Oh, come on. Don't be stealing the car. I put the battery in.
I mean, I know that when people get sweet and sour chicken, they get the red sauce stuff. I don't know if that's supposed to be the sweet part. And the chicken itself is just meant to be sour, but yeah, I never actually dunk it into the sauce.
All right, we were in the back seat and Adam drove right into a tree. Well played. Well played, Adam.
Watch out for that tree.
He's levitating over there. He's glitching out hard. Oh, he's back in the car, and now he's hit. All right, I will head back to the cabin and try to find a med spray.
Hopefully don't hit you.
Johnny says this is the most Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles conversation.
Speaking of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Do it.
Far out, dude. No, the world's really gone bizarro when pizzas bite you back. But really, speaking of Ninja Turtles, thoughts on the different cartoons from like the 80s show, the 2000 show, and the 2012 Nickelodeon show?
Pete, you want to weigh in first?
Out of the three, the one I've seen the most is the 80s, so I can talk about that comfortably. I've seen a bit of the 2013. I'm not too familiar with the one in between, so.
Obviously, I grew up with I cut my teeth on the original 80s cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
I did not follow it into the what was the next? I don't know what the next mutation was. The radical new one they did, where they actually had more of a comic book storyline, but the one where the next one, Mega, help me out. You know the next
hold on.
version.
It sounds familiar. Next.
You know with the.
I just don't remember. Okay, there we go.
That's not what it was, but just like the next.
Oh, I know it is
version
Ninja Turtle Next Mutation. That was supposed to be a live action.
No. I just said
show,
next
like...
mutation. I just meant the evolution.
Oh,
yeah, like the next step, the reboot.
2003 show.
Yeah, I never had any interest in watching that. Never watched the Nickelodeon one either, but I do respect that one.
Well, I can tell you this: the 80s cartoon was trying to be its own thing, like a kid-friendly show. The 2003 show was meant to be more like the original comic books, because if anyone who's seen the original live-action Ninja Turtles film where Raph got beat up by the Foot Clan and was incapacitated, in the original comic it was actually Leo. Yeah, Leonardo who got down.
I actually read the original comics at the same time that the cartoon was going on, before the movie came out. So I was one of the kids that was like shouting at the theater, saying they got it wrong.
Yeah.
But I guess that honestly, Raphael is a more interesting character than Leonardo ever was, so I could see why they did that.
But while Raph may be more interesting because he has that sort of Wolverine appeal, they forget why Leo is the leader.
It definitely is more impactful when suddenly the head of the body has been taken
out. Yeah. Anyways, the 2003 show was meant to be a little more like the original comics, but you know, it's still a cartoon for kids. But they were gritty enough that they could do some of what they did in the comics.
Yeah, actually, I did kind of read up a little bit on the next series where they had like the actual black Baxter Stockman and all the things that Shredder did to him. Pretty dark. So.
Yeah.
I might like the cartoon if I watch it now.
Yeah. But the 2012 show actually is decent because it's the perfect blend between the 80s show and the 2003 cartoon based on the comics. Because You know, it has that. They, for example, they call it the mutagen instead of the ooze. Like in the original comics, I think called it ooze, but it was the '80s show that called it mutagen. So they like they combined the
Let me finish.
the '80s origin
Come on,
with
let me
the '90s grittiness. And then they did something interesting with Karai. I don't want to risk spoiling it if you don't want me to, but it's actually a good change of pace in storytelling for the Ninja Turtles.
Go ahead, because I don't think Karai was in the original cartoon, so I only know her from the
Show.
I only know her from the recent comic book series that they've done, the IDW did.
Adopted daughter of Shredder, right?
Yeah.
In the chat, Johnny says 80s is the best. 2012 is pretty good. Inti says I had a couple of TMT action figures and the pizza launcher vehicle. I died because I stupidly went back to the car, and now we're watching our favorite player, Freck you.
Well, anyways, yeah, basically in the 2012 show, they maintain that she is the adopted daughter of the Shredder. But right in the first episode, they established that Splinter, he and Tang Shen, the girl he fell in love with, had a daughter named Miwa.
Holy shit!
And it turns out Karai is Miwa. So basically, Karai is actually Splinter's daughter, abducted by Shredder and raised by him.
Mega, did you ever read the recent Ninja Turtles comics by IDW?
I honestly never read any of the comics except some of the comics that were based on the 80s cartoon.
The recent comic series is, at least the ones that I read, is really well done. It's kind of a celebration of all the different versions, all the different origin stories. They kind of combine everything together. And Karai's
actually,
a big
there is
character in
one.
that.
Okay. But yeah, actually, there is one, two Ninja Turtles comics that are more recent that I've read, and that's the Batman meets versus Ninja Turtles, the gritty one, and then the one where the 90s Batman meets the 2012 Turtles, which is my favorite because that was the first comic I ever read where I was like laughing and smiling from beginning to end as I read it.
What about the Ninja Turtles and the Ghostbusters crossover?
I've not read that one yet.
You didn't read that? I didn't either, but it made it canon. So.
Oh, awesome. Kind of fitting, because, you know, same, they were on at the same time in the 80s.
And the story, or the character archetypes are all there.
Mm-hmm.
They match them up pretty well.
Inti in the chats actually was talking about the Batman TMNT animated film where Shredder and Ra's al Ghul join forces.
I
But
love that film.
Johnny actually has a question here. That is there now a fifth turtle with claws?
On the before, I don't know about Slash, but I know that before Slash there was and they no longer reference her anymore. It's Venus de Milo.
Yeah, she's from the TV live
action
series.
one. Yeah. And personally, I understand why they don't like her because of how bad she was in that. But if she deserves a second chance, just write her better in a new incarnation. Stepdad just said she must have been that version, the Ninja Turtles version of Scrappy Doo.
Or Poochie.
Scrappy Doo was not bad initially. In the first season, he was he was a good
Oh,
character,
no, I can't. He is the absolute worst. There's only one level worse than him, and that's the cousin, Scooby Dum.
Look.
That is unwatchable. Unwatchable.
Scrappy in the first season was well written. It was season 2 onward where they had him like they wrote him like Daphne and Velma and Fred, and he just took over the show from that point. And he was well written. It was just everyone remembers him from season 2 onward, and therefore that's where the disdain for him comes from.
Johnny in the chat says Turtles versus Batman was really good, and Mr. I says I like Left 4 Dead personally.
I actually did a review on Batman vs. Ninja Turtles, the animated movie, on my main channel.
And I've got Left 4 Dead 2 here on Steam, so maybe I'll break that out one night if Mr. I is a fan of the series. Change it up a bit from Friday the 13th.
I still have not found the guts to stream myself playing Alien Isolation again because I'm like halfway through the game and I'm too darn nervous. The alien will not leave me alone long enough to complete my objectives.
Oh, Shazam is saying in the chat here, we're waiting for one last person to ready up. He's like, ready up or I leave. And he's counting down in the chat. Yeah, you do that. Follow through on your threat, Shazam. See you later, bud.
Shazam!
And he's gone. You said the word and he left. Shazam! And Mr. I says, that's one of my favorite games, Left 4 Dead. I think we mentioned that last week. We were talking to Mr. I about that. So I'll definitely break that out. Because we talked about that last week about mixing it up a bit, playing other games, possibly doing live streams. But we need to coordinate it better so we're all aware of what movie to have ready. All right, going into a room. Hopefully this time as Chad. And I switched my Jason to Part 9 because I haven't played Part 9 in a while. Which one is one I do enjoy because he has some good kills, but he's probably the weakest of all the Jasons, the easiest to kill.
I do still think that it's ridiculous how they killed Part 9 with some dagger from out of that magic dagger from a
Oh god, yeah, and the lifetime bounty hunter that was searching Jason, Creighton Duke. Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with that movie, Mega.
Believe it or not, there actually was meant to be a scene showing that Creighton Duke had actually encountered Jason when he was a kid. You know, he was swimming in the lake with his girlfriend, and then Jason came and took his girlfriend, and he's the reason why he's a bounty hunter is because he's been searching for Jason to get revenge.
Gotcha. Were you gonna say something there, Em, before we started talking?
No, I just say my the TV I'm watching you on is like probably about 15 seconds behind the chat or the audio. So I was just now seeing Shazam do his little countdown.
Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. You guys are a little bit on.
That guy is pretty amazing.
Yep.
To actually think that the threat of one person out of 8 leaving was enough to get some action happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Shazam's got. We can't lose him.
In the chat, Johnny says checked for the 5th turtle. It's a turtle named Jenica.
No, not familiar with Jenica.
And Mr. I says, yeah, I'm an all-around gamer like you. I've played Xbox, PC, PS, and PC. Nice, man. And Inti is hitting on something there with Part 9, because that movie was supposed to lead to an Ash crossover with Evil Dead, because Jason is really a Deadite in that movie. Yeah. And that dagger is from Evil Dead, because at the end you see Freddy's claw grab the mask video. The Necronomicon's also in the movie. That was supposed to be the lead up to another movie where it was Ash versus Jason versus Freddy.
If they were really smart, if they wanted it to be a sacred weapon would be able to kill Jason, they should have just kept it as the machete that was used to cut his mother's head off, because lingering blood from the severing of her head is still on that blade, and only the blood of a relative can kill him. So therefore it'll be as if the blood of Jason's mother on the machete is what will be used to kill Jason. That's why he uses it, because not only does he feel like he's avenging his mother, but he's also making sure that his own weapon doesn't get used against him.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds logical for sure. Mr. I in the chat goes on to say, I know some guys that are more Sony fanboys than they are gamers. They only play PlayStation. They do exist, and I play good games regardless of the console. I agree on that.
I've always been a little biased to PlayStation because that was the console where I started getting into like the greats like Tomb Raider and Resident Evil and whatnot. So that's why I just stuck with PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4. As a kid, I always was eager to play either the Sega Genesis or the Super Nintendo.
And we've talked about that many times. And now that the Discord chat thing works, we can actually stream some retro with Magic or Dr. Bullets now.
We need to let him know we figured it out.
Yep. And now we can do those streams, talk about some of our favorite retro games, have some fun with it. And oh, Mr. I says Evil Dead 2 is a board game and it looks good. And he goes on to say, yep, this is a good idea, Mega. Killing Jason with his own weapon. Oh, yeah, he's talking about your idea for killing Jason with his own weapon. But Mr. I says that Evil Dead is also a board game. I haven't seen that.
No, I actually came up with an idea for a potential Terminator fan film, or even a Terminator 3 of my own, that would actually be more faithful to the first two movies. I just, but I don't think I'll be able to make it due to, you know, not being some guy with a fancy cameras and enough money to pay actors and such. Unless there's like a GoFundMe thing I can do to raise money, then I don't know if I'll be able to make it.
Remember, Mega, anybody could start a Kickstarter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyone
But you
can
know what,
log in there.
My idea?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you know, how many of you here are familiar with the actor Dean Norris?
Yeah, the Superman guy, right?
Superman guy? Not familiar with that.
Dean Norris?
Dean Norris, yeah, he was in...
Kane.
Oh, no, that was
Oh,
Dean
okay.
Kane.
Never
Yeah.
mind. I'm
Yeah,
not.
Dean... That's okay. Have you ever heard of the show called Under the Dome?
Can't say I
Stephen
have.
King novel? Oh, it's based on a Stephen King novel. Basically, an entire Midwestern town gets covered by a dome, cutting it off from the outside world. Dean Norris played Big Jim. He's like the town mayor, and not very as pleasant as he makes himself out to be. Very good in that show. But Dean Norris was also in Lethal Weapon 2 as one of the detectives who gets killed off. But the thing
I'm
is,
looking him
Dean
up right now.
Norris, yeah, and
Yes.
he's
Yeah,
he's
from
also
Breaking
in
Bad.
Terminator. Yeah, and he's also in Terminator 2 as the SWAT team leader who leads the SWAT officers into Cyberdyne. So my idea is, years later, Dean Norris is no longer a SWAT officer. He's now a lead like a veteran police detective. Then, you know, he's entering the West Highland Police Station, the very same one that was shot up by the Terminator in the first film. And then one of his subordinates comes in and tells him, we just caught this surveillance footage of a crime in progress. He then sees it and he's like, and we're only being told this, I'm being told this now? And then he goes out into the bullpen and he's like yelling at all the young new whippersnapper cops of this generation, telling them the history of the phone book killer from 1984 because, you know, he survived an encounter with him in 95. And then, you know, he's saying, you have all this advanced technology and we're only finding out that about him returning to public eye just now, an hour after the fact. Get up off your asses and find him. He has been running free. He has been running free for too long. And then basically he goes back into his office. He's looking at the surveillance footage again. You see, you don't see their faces, but you see the shape of a woman and a little boy running away while the woman turns back to fire at someone. And then out into view, you see Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, armed with guns, and then I will have clips of Terminator 2 where Dean Norris is the SWAT team leader, yelling for the cops to get out of the building after Dyson says he can't hold the thing above the trigger for the detonator much longer. And then we see a clip of Arnold getting shot up in the hallway, and then we cue back to the scene where Dean is looking at the surveillance footage, and he's like, "What the hell are you?" And then the camera zooms in on, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger looking at the camera, and then roll credits. Basically, it shows that it's a brief fan film for a potential idea for a Terminator 3, where you take a minor character from Terminator 2, make him more pivotal to the story, and, you know, basically what he endured in 1995 carries over into this movie.
All right, so just to catch up here, we escaped. I don't know how. The person who was driving was either trolling or never drove the car before in their life. Just to catch up on the chat for a bit, Mr. I says, in the Evil Dead game, it's got a traitor mechanic where some players are humans, some players are deadite, but when you start out, you don't know who is who. That's pretty good, because then it's a mystery box. But Inti has an idea for Predator versus Friday the 13th crossover, guys. Jason is invisible to the Predator because he's dead.
That's good, Inti. Very good. I'll definitely get behind that.
Also, Inti. Dean Norris was also in Total Recall. He was the mutant with the tentacle coming out of his eye.
No. He was the superior officer who allowed Rico to return to the surface after he signed his resignation.
I said Total Recall, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm looking at the one where he says Starship Troopers. My mistake.
Okay.
No, Inti is referencing Starship Troopers, but M is calling to his he's in Total Recall as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about Total Recall.
Well, he's got he's basically unrecognizable other than his mouth. So.
Oh, let me guess. He's the one with the body growing out of his belly.
No,
Quado.
One that has like the. It looks like he has a tentacle coming out of his eye.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, according to Inti, Dean Norris was also in Starship Troopers. Okay.
Mr. I goes on
He
to
looks
say,
the same even then.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like that he was in Terminator as just a minor role, the SWAT team leader. So I thought to myself, make a story where a survivor from either the first or second film is now like a aged veteran detective, and he doesn't like how these new age millennial police officers are like completely ignorant to the history of the phone book killer, and so he educates them. He'll be like, this building you are currently sitting in is the same building that was shot up in 1984. 17 out of 30 police officers died here at the hands of this man. Find him and bring him in.
just
So,
to
yeah,
to give one more mention in the chat, Mr. I says, in terms of systems, he's not going to lie. When the 360 came out, he was an Xbox fanboy. I already was. Xbox One. I like PlayStation and PlayStation 2, but I still prefer the Xbox. At that time, I definitely was more into it. But to go on what you're talking about, what we're talking about here, Mega, it's funny that you're talking about the Terminator, because I've been on a real kick again lately. So I'm watching all through the originals. I'm going to watch Dark Fate this time. I haven't watched Dark Fate yet. But this time I'm actually...
I would not watch Dark Fate even if you paid me.
This time I'm actually going to do it. So right now I've just finished Rise of the Machines yesterday, and I've started watching... Before I came on, I was watching a bit of Salvation. So I'm warming up to it. So we'll see. We'll see if I can make it through Dark Fate. I'll let you guys know.
I will say this, for all the flaws that Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, and Terminator Genesis have, they each at least tried to contribute to something.
I agree to an extent, but I wouldn't even put Genesis on that list. I wouldn't insult Rise of the Machines. Or just, out of the three, I think Salvation is probably the most solid film. Rise of the Machines has a little bit too much tongue-in-cheek, over the top, hamming it up. There's some really good action pieces in there. I think there's probably better action pieces in that than there is in Salvation. But the story is probably better in Salvation.
I think Genesis had great potential because the first 30 minutes of that movie was the best part of it. You know, you had a recreated version of the future war. Granted, the weapons did not match the original look by Stan Winston and his company, but still, you know, they recreated the future war scene very well. Heck, they even used one of Cameron's initial machine ideas, the Centurion, in that scene. And then, of course, you have the trip back to 1984, almost well recreated. Granted, some of the actors look like they're more like YouTube impersonators rather than actual actors, but still.
That's the thing that probably killed Genesis for me, the casting. I don't like anyone who's in the main cast. I don't like Emilia Clarke or whoever, and
I don't mind it. I don't mind Emilia
and
Clarke.
I hate Jai Courtney. I can't stand him.
Courtney would have been better off as a Terminator. I'll
Yep.
give you that. He was too beefed up to be a Kyle Reese because Kyle Reese was supposed to be skinny because of years of malnutrition due to lack of food in a post-apocalyptic setting.
Exactly, and he looks like he's ready to play quarterback. But to catch up on the chat, Mr. I says, or wait a minute, hold on a second. Inti says, kids nowadays don't know what a phone book is in response to your phone book killer thing is. He's not wrong there. Mr. I goes on to say, you're going to go blind watch Dark Fate. So awful. OG says, Terminator-a-thon for Pete. It really is. I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know about the second half of it. I'm at about the midway point where it starts to turn towards the lesser of the good. Inti says Terminator 3 was alright, pure schlock, but fun. Mr. I says, what is my favorite game console, your favorite console ever? I can't answer that on the spot. I will in a second, but Inti, I'm just going to finish reading the chat, guys. Inti, Genesis was too confusing. Mr. I says, Terminator 2 was my movie. The Liquid Metal Terminator was so sick. Can't disagree with that. And the soundtrack, like Guns N' Roses, You Could Be Mine. Like, the music soundtrack, like the actual musical score and the soundtrack, incredible.
And the music score for and soundtrack for the first film is a little underrated because true diehard Terminator fans will play like those 80s musics that were heard in the
Tech Noir?
Tech Noir. Yeah. Diehard Terminator fans will play those in their videos.
So why don't you answer that question, Em? And then I'll go. Your favorite game console ever?
I would have to say the NES. Followed by the Nintendo DS and the... I do have a third one. I don't know. Those two.
I honestly can't answer because I mean I've played the Sega, I've played the Super NES, I've played the multiple different versions of PlayStation, I've even played a Game Boy. I can't decide.
It's actually I'm gonna change my answer. The Game Boy actually is my favorite console system.
It's such a hard question. Like I want to say NES, but there's just so much. It took me so long to get to the NES because I held on to my Atari like way too long.
Say the Commodore 64.
Commodore 64, I held on to that forever as well. Like we didn't get the NES till later. Like I played it through friends when it first came out. The first year those systems came out, my parents were able to get me the Master System. That's how I was introduced to the Master System. I don't even think it was the first season. I think it was the second. It would have been when Super Mario Brothers 2 came out. So that's when I got the Master System. Later on, then I was playing it constantly because my buddies had it, but I never had it myself personally, and then I finally got it. So I don't know. I would have to say it's such a close between those three. NES, Commodore 64, and Atari. It would be a coin flip between the three of them. Even though the Master System was my first system, it was my first introduction to like the 8-bit, other than the 64. But I have fond memories of it, but I didn't have enough games to really enjoy the library at the time. Now I've gone back and I know the games a bit more.
What games did you have on the Master System?
On the Master System, I had Alex Kidd, and I had the plug-in games, and I had the plug-in games, and I had Space Harrier, and the Space Harrier Hang On, Afterburner, and I think that's it.
What are the plug-in games?
The plug-in games that came with it, Jungle Hunt, no, not Jungle Hunt. What was it called? It was like a safari game where you were shooting.
Oh, I think I have that one.
Yeah. Safari. I can't remember. Yeah.
Dig through my crap.
Yeah. I can't remember the exact name. Jungle Safari. That was one of them.
Hang On and Safari Hunt.
That's it. Hang On, Safari Hunt. They were. It was a combo card. That was it. So I had Space Harrier by itself, but I had the actual with the original system. I remember I had the cartridge, not the cartridge, but I had the card because there was a slide-in card on the Master System as well. The one that I had came with it. It was actually the card, not the cartridge. And there was a game. There's a game when you turn on the system as well. It's like a I want to say it's like a missile defense game. Yeah, that's it. I was meaning to, when the last time I had it hooked up on the TV, I meant to try it out because I remember reading it when I was looking up other games on the system just to refresh my memory. And I'm like, oh yeah, you just turn it on and play it. I remember being very basic. Without going to Google and looking at it, I remember it being very basic.
I always have heard about the game that is loaded onto the system, but I always forget to check for it when I have it hooked up. I could have sworn it was the snail maze, but I could be totally wrong.
That could be it. That could be it.
Is anyone there? This is not a prank. We need your help.
If I could real quickly bring this conversation back to Terminator Genesis.
Please.
Sounds good.
I actually think what would have made the movie... See, to me, like I said, the first 30 minutes was the best. You know, the recreated Future War and the recreated 1984 stuff. The problem was, after they defeat the T-1000 and they decide they're going to go time traveling into the future, that's when things got messy and just... it was like an obvious carbon ripoff of Sarah Connor Chronicles. What I will say is that what I would have done differently to make the story more interesting, because of the changes to the past, like it would obviously be made clear that Arnold Schwarzenegger and the T-1000 were meant to go to 1995 for the events of Terminator 2, but something happened where instead the T-1000 got sent back to the 70s after Sarah Connor instead, and that's why they sent the Arnie Terminator after it, because they realized that there's been a change and they got to fix it. And so yeah, basically in 1984, when Kyle Reese arrives, not only has Sarah changed because of her life being altered in the 70s, which is sooner than expected, but also because the T-1000 had a hard time finding her, it decided when it wasn't looking for her, it would infiltrate Cyberdyne and up the development of Skynet years in advance. So that's why, because of this change where the T-1000 and the Terminator arrive in the 70s, Judgment Day is not August 29th, 1997. It's May 14th, 1984, the day that John Connor's meant to be conceived, like in the original movie. So, getting Kyle Reese's mission went from protecting Sarah to stopping Judgment Day immediately. That's how I would do it differently. Because with the evolution of Cyberdyne and Skynet, early on, you'd have like laptops and cell phones and the internet in the 80s. Pull off the 80s setting, and yet there's no continuity error really if you see a cell phone or whatever in the 80s because of upgraded technology.
Well, yeah, it would have to be, or it would be an 80s-esque type of Zach Morris phone. To catch up on that, catch up on the chat, Mr. I goes on to say, we're talking about the systems, so going back to the systems, his favorite is Xbox 360, NES, and Genesis, and dude, I was always on my 360, that was games incarnate. Then he goes on to say, remember Dragon's Lair? That thing used to cost 50 cents to play in the arcade, and I hated the controls. Oh my god, I poured so many quarters into that game.
Oh, Mr. I, speaking of Dragon's Lair, that is now being made into made into a movie. I don't know if it's animated or live action, but it's going to be made into a movie or something on somewhere.
With Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be in it, but that game, I remember it. I would always fall for it. I would always fall for it because I'd want to see the next animation. OG is talking about it as well, that it was expensive to play with nice graphics for the day, and that the Don Bluth graphics were awesome. That's what Mr. I says. I can't disagree with that. That's what suckered you in to keep spending quarters on it, man. You kept plugging it in, and I even remember when it would go to like the electronics store when they would have it there, like the box, and I would be dropping it in. It's like, this place is making enough money as it is. I don't need to be dropping quarters in their arcade box, but hey, here we go again. So, going on with the chat, Mr. I says, I hated the controls, though a lot of railroading. It didn't require any skills. Nope. Just turn here. Yeah, it was just turning the controller at the right time. Inti says, Terminator franchise has 3 stories to tell in total. T1, the original. T2, the sequel, and the Future War. where they find the time machine, aka the opening of Genesis. And Mr. I says, you had just to push the joystick in the direction of the screen that lit up. Yep. It was very basic.
2 quick things. One, I'm gonna have to go off the chat. Off the commentary.
No problem.
And just go back to the chat because yeah, it is getting a little late here.
Sounds good.
And secondly, there actually is a third story, NT Bird. It's called Terminator Resistance. With, and yes, you can find my entire review playthrough of that on my channel, TechCom.
There you go. Great. I was going to say before you leave, plug your channel, but thanks for coming in, Mega.
You should do your quote.
Yep, preserving Terminator lore since 1984. Follow us if you want to live. Remember, there is no fate but what we make. Thanks for your cooperation. I'll be back.
All right,
Awesome.
Mega. Take it easy.
I do remember the Dragon's Lair arcade, and I always wanted to play it, but I could not justify the extra quarters or tokens it was going to take when I could just spend a fraction of that on a single arcade game.
Wow, you had that? You had that much like self-restraint at that age? We're the same age, Em. Like you had that. Oh no, I was like pouring. I was like, one more. It's like, come on, one more. I can do it this time. I guarantee.
I got it figured out, Mom. I just need $5 more.
Exactly. I got it this time. Don't worry. You can just take it out of my next couple allowances.
Yeah. So I never. I usually kind of hovered around that cabinet in hopes, hopefully someone else would play it.
Yes.
I never played it myself.
But let's talk about that. Let's talk about without magic, of course. Bollocks is going to be pissed. But arcade games that we during that same time period. Sorry, man. Some guys are being really annoying in the chat. All right, gonna mute them. Arcade boxes that we would generally, the first game you would go to. Say you go through the arcade doors, and the first game you would go to in the late '80s.
You and I would probably go. Probably everyone in the chat who's around our age would go to the exact same arcade. That would be the Ninja Turtles or Simpsons arcade cabinet.
Oh yeah, 100% agree, but not the early '90s. Like when we were a bit younger, like the late '80s.
Oh, a bit younger even.
So before Street Fighter showed up, before the Turtles showed up, before all those Konami boxes showed up. So like you're in the arcade and Dragon's Lair is there. You've got, what else would you have at that time? You might have Double Dragon 2. You probably don't yet. You've got Bad Dudes. You got all the stuff that's in the NES library just before the NES library.
So that would Bubble Bobble was around at that time, right? That
Yep,
would be
the Bubble Bobble
arcade game.
Yep.
Golden Axe. Those are the. I'm trying to think. I don't know what the time frame was, but I'm trying to think of the games I played obsessively. That would be Golden Axe. I actually, I did play the Ninja Gaiden arcade quite a bit, and Bubble Bobble.
Oh yeah, I played a ton of Bubble Bobble. Bubble Bobble. Jeez.
It's a tricky one. It got me too.
But I would say the first one, like from a really young age that I really hit, was like it was a bit older in the arcade at the time, but I would always go to Gauntlet. That was another one that I would always hit.
Oh, and on that Gauntlet and Rampage.
Rampage, yes.
Those are the ones that were the big quarter grabbers before Konami came out with their series.
In the chat, Inti says POW, POW for the NES, which was more limited but still good in the arcade. And Mr. I says Tron. I do remember seeing it, like when I would go to like really early birthdays at Chuck E. Cheese. I remember Tron there, and I think I might have played it, but that was about the same time. When, like it would have, like, they had a lot of the older boxes, so it would have like the first sit down Polygon Star Wars game, like where you would do the run, like the Death Star run. I remember playing those boxes, But we talked about it before here on Crystal Lake Fridays, talking about the sit-down arcade games as well. Like you go to the restaurant.
Ones.
Yes, the cocktail. You'd go to the burger shop and you'd have like Arkanoid and Miss Pac-Man, Donkey Kong Jr.
I think that was my first arcade experience. Actually, was playing the cocktail version of Donkey Kong Jr. I remember being very young playing that game.
I would have to probably say that would probably be one of my first, because I remember we used to always go on Sundays to this one place, and there would be one of those there, and I would always play either, there were two, and one was, I can't remember if it was Galaga or Galaxian, and the other one was Miss Pac-Man. And to this day, I still prefer Miss Pac-Man. I think because of playing it like that, like at that sit-down station.
It seems like Miss Pac-Man is actually, it seems to be more fondly regarded than the original Pac-Man. So I don't think you're alone on that one.
I don't know. Maybe it was the bow or the board. The boards were a little bit more colorful because they changed colors.
I think I haven't played either enough to be much of a connoisseur, but I do think that the Miss Pac-Man had more variety and a bit more. I think there was like 2 or 3 different mazes, right? I think there was a bit more complexity and depth to the gameplay. Plus, she had a bow and chicks are hot, so that's probably why.
See what else the chat is saying. Oh, I missed Mr. I said Shinobi was the first game he would go to in the arcade. It's a good call. Nerd says, we are old. You people are so old, unlike me. And Tech says he's back. Mr. I says Legend of Kagi. Inti says Burger Time. Games like that. Burger Time was another one I remember from way back. So let's put some. Well, I got an Adam here. Let's have him put the gas in there. Mr. I says the tank battle and the light cycle. Oh, for Tron. Yes. So I do remember that. House of the Dead. House of the Dead. That was a bit later. You ever play that in the arcade, Em?
No. I watched people play it, but that was, again, cheap ass. That was a kind of a premium arcade game. I'm not going to pay $1 to play a game.
Holy shit. It started.
I went to like a adults arcade within the last few years, not recently, but the last time I went, they had a copy of that there, so I hadn't played it in forever, and gave it a try. And Nerd said Splatterhouse was cool. I do not remember that in the arcade.
I don't remember it in the arcades either, but I do remember how heavily it was promoted when it came out on the. It came out on the TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah.
First, right?
Yep. Definitely. Mr. I says Splatterhouse was fun, and Tech says that man's playing Galaga. Thought we would notice, but we did. Tony Stark in the Avengers. Always with the quotes. Oh, the car is busted. But yeah, if we move a little bit forward and we talk about that period from the box of the Konami boxes, out of those games, I don't know which one I played more of. Probably the Ninja Turtles. I would probably have to go with the first arcade game, just because it was a bit more common. But I did play a lot of the Simpsons and the X-Men game as well.
I played a ton of Ninja Turtles and the Simpsons. I couldn't even tell you which one I played more of. Although I would have told you that I liked the Ninja Turtles one more. I didn't really play I didn't have a whole lot of connection to the X-Men franchise, so I didn't really play that game very much. But when I did, I was always Nightcrawler.
It would be funny when you would go there and you'd go with your friends, or it would be random putting the quarters down and you couldn't choose. So sometimes you got stuck with the character you didn't want to play. So. But no, I think I played the Ninja Turtles a bit more because in school when we were there, it was always in the one by my school, like a convenience store by my school, and a comic book store had it. The comic book store had Sorry. I'm getting choked up by Jason. Had that game. It had that. It had not WWE Challenge, like WWF's Challenge. I think it had Superstars, like the 2-player one, not the 4-player game, and a pinball machine. So I remember that. And then they eventually added, I can remember the other game they added, but it was not The Simpsons. The only time I ever got to play The Simpsons was when I went to the actual arcade.
I think a lot of the places that had arcades around me when I was growing up were kind of janky, so I don't know if they could actually have afforded the Ninja Turtles arcade. So I think that was more of a rarity to find. So I think because of that, I just remember playing it more just because it was more exciting to find it. But yeah, growing up, I wasn't really surrounded by a lot of places that had arcades.
We had a decent one in the mall nearby. It was pretty decent. It had like those games, NBA Jam, pretty much all the popular ones at the time. But it was closer for me to go to the comic book store, which wasn't far from my school. So that's why I played those games the most. Mr. I mentions another one, Ghosts and Goblins in the arcade. I do remember that, but I got more familiar with it on the home version. Tech says, as a kid, the first Ninja Turtle game I played was Hyperstone Heist for Sega Genesis, a similar game to Turtles in Time, but different. I remember that game as well, but I never played it fully. I don't know about you.
Yeah, actually, it pretty much is. Pretty much is Turtles in Time. They just added the Shredder's hideout. The level structures are a little different. I think they mixed up some of the bosses, but they. I think they deliberately changed just enough to make it different from the SNES version of Turtles in Time. Probably by... that seems like something Nintendo themselves would have demanded that they do. But yeah, it's still just as good as the Super Nintendo version of Turtles in Time.
All right, so we're just in a ready room waiting for continuation. Mr. I and OG are talking about Gauntlet because they're both big fans of it. I do remember that game. That was another, we would go occasionally to, it was like a family outing. We would go to the racetrack and they had an older arcade. So that's how I got familiar with some of those games.
Like the car race track?
No, horse racing.
A horse race?
Horse racing. Yep,
okay.
As a kid, yeah, it was an interesting time. But I would always flock right to the arcade, and even though they were older boxes, I would be all over them. So,
what's the gambling age? Just out of curiosity in Canada.
as Just likes to say, Canada plays fast and loose with a lot of the rules. I want to say it's like 16.
Okay, so that because when I
at the time it was probably that.
Racetrack,
yeah, no, I wasn't.
That's like, no, what I mean is I think that might be a slightly bit of cultural difference there. Oh, Greg, can you comment on that? Is that weird? Is that an American thing to think that's weird?
It must have been a Canadian.
Yeah, I'm not blaming your parents. I'm blaming me as an American, by the way.
Oh, good. No worries. It was a good time. It had an older arcade, but it was enjoyable. So. Tech goes on to say the Hyperstone Heist is the only Turtles media side from the 90s live-action film to feature Tatsuo Shredder second in command.
That's true.
Mr. I says, I might start streaming retro games, and man, I miss the arcade games, or arcade days. I really do. And OG agrees, it seems weird.
Okay, so just us as Americans, because our legal gambling age is 21?
It is now 19 here, I believe. It's 19. Okay. But at that time, it was a little bit more. Back then, like, when we were in school, I think when we were in high school, you could buy cigarettes if you were 16 in Canada?
I think we could. I remember buying cigarettes when I was in high school, but might have been 18. I think what I'm stuck on is, and again, this is nothing against your family traditions. This is just, it's like whenever they have like a stereotypical bad single dad taking care of his kids on the weekends, and they want to show that he's a bad dad. They show him taking his kids to the horse races.
Well, it wasn't just my dad; it was the entire family.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and and that's probably because of that stereotype. That's probably why I thought it was strange. So that was just
all
I
good.
don't want to make it sound like I'm insulting you.
Oh, I'm not insulted at all. I'm not insulted at all. I grew up as a big fan of Married with Children. It's all good. So, I don't know. I never thought anything of it, and nor do I take any offense to it. So, it was definitely an interesting experience. I'm not gonna lie, being in that environment at that age. But hey. Tech goes on to say, also the original Ninja Turtles tournament fighter game really had the human female ninja named Mitsu after the girl Mikey falls for in Ninja Turtles 3. I like that sad story for Mikey. And Mr. I goes on to say, we used to cut class and go to the arcade or Pizza Hut. All of my friends were geeks. Sounds familiar. Maybe not Pizza Hut. OG says good times, and Inti says the rebellious youth. Alright, let's put the battery in the car. Oops. So what's our next food challenge, Em?
I think still you should do the chocolate covered pickles thing that I already did.
Oh God.
And see if maybe make a sandwich out of it. I didn't go that far.
I do have half a bag of. So do I need to use a specific chocolate, or is it a chocolate of my choice?
Well, the chocolate that I used, this was my wife had just made chocolate covered strawberries for Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And so my daughter and I took the rest of her chocolate, and we just went around the kitchen and just dipped various things into it to see what worked. And I tapped out when we tried pickles. That was like, all right, fun's over, and then that was it.
So was that chocolate that you had showed me before, like the dipping chocolate?
Yeah, the dipping chocolate.
Okay.
So I didn't really answer your question with my story. It was meant to, but I didn't
No
get that
problem.
far.
No problem.
Yes,
I cut you off there. Did you have more to say there?
No, it just I would be curious to see if you liked the chocolate covered pickles more than I did. There's a challenge.
All right, sounds good. I'm down. So I have a bag of like baking chips with actual sugar in them, not like before when I was eating. Actually, no, I didn't. When I made the sandwich for the Cheetos, I did use actual baking chocolate with like chips. It was another story that I was telling Rebecca that I had bought like a bar of Baker's chocolate, like the sugar-free stuff, and I ate it just to gross her out. So that's
But it was fun to type out and imagine. But honestly, the peanut butter sandwich with potato chips dipped in chocolate was not a challenge at all. It was actually amazing. So
well, you got the better end of that challenge. I had to eat hot Cheetos with them. I like the hot Cheetos. I like hot Cheetos separate, but
if I went second, I would have done it if you told me to.
Okay, well, so pickles it is. I'll have to do it this weekend, but just pickles, right? Nothing else. Not a sandwich. Just pickles dipped in chocolate.
Dealer's choice, I guess, as long as it's mixing pickles and chocolate somehow.
Okay,
So
sounds good.
like a chowder or maybe a weird sandwich.
It really would be.
But yeah, when you're mixing potato chips with either chocolate or peanut butter, that condiment pretty much overpowers the any flavor the potato chips have. That's why I thought that you'd only have a real chance of tasting anything other than chocolate or peanut butter if you went with Cheetos.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it worked. Did it?
Oh, it did. It did. I could taste the Cheetos for sure.
Hope I'm doing this right.
Sorry. Catch up on the chat a bit. Mr. I says, I remember going to my friend's house because his parents were at work watching X-rated movies and programming games on his PC. And Tech says, the problem these days in Hollywood is portraying all our classic heroes that are being rewritten as deadbeat dads to prop the moms. And Mr. I answers that saying, yes, facts. They even killed off Han and Leia. OG is joining in saying anti-male agenda is widespread and ridiculous. My dog is biting me at the moment, but just play biting. And they're just continuing on that. All right. Well, I am going to make my way up to where the police are because someone called the cops, so I don't have to do anything else in this game. Take the easy way out.
How's my volume, by the way? Is it like deafening or normal?
No, it's fine. I hear you good. I'm not sure about on the stream, but like in my ears, you sound perfect. Not too loud, but I can hear you.
All kinds of stuff to figure out why it wasn't working the first time when all I had to do was press a button. So I have no idea how it turned out. I'm just wondering if I can use these headphones just in my PS4 controller.
That I don't. I've been told yes. I've tried and no, but to be honest, I might have did the same thing you did and just not turned the mute off.
Well, what were you using when you were streaming the Atari Flashback on the PS4?
Just
I couldn't hear you.
I think it's because I had the levels turned down in the thing, but I was just using the little microphone, the little plug-in, the black and blue one.
Yeah, you keep on telling me that and I keep forgetting. Sorry.
All good, no worries. Oh, my favorite players. Freck you is with me, getting ready to leave. Hopefully the cops are at this exit. Mr. I have another story of from childhood. Mr. I says, we were the kids that played video games and drew comics. We used to cut and then come back on test day and ace the test. It reminded me of another story. Since we're talking about old arcade boxes, time spent in the arcade. I remember the first time I cut school, the principal came to my freaking house.
Your principal went like full Skinner on you, huh?
Went full Skinner or full... somebody in the game's yelling. Yeah, I was living my best Ferris Bueller, and Rooney came to my damn door.
That's right. I forgot that that was Ferris Bueller first. I just remember Principal Skinner doing it. But
yes.
I think that was probably just a send up of
Ferris
Bueller's Day Off.
Yep.
Jason, go kill him. Jason, kill him.
But yeah, after that, I did not cut for a while. I will admit it. I was in grade 7. It did not happen again for quite a while. Didn't open the door. I was home by myself, but yeah. That's it. Also, the problem when you're school, I lived like literally 5 minutes from my grade in middle school. They were together, so.
See, I never even thought about cutting school until I was a senior. And the one time I did it, I tried to cut school with my girlfriend, and then my girlfriend's dad found out about it, and that day went to a very dark place. I just eventually just got so bored I just went to school anyway. Like so. But yeah, it was supposed to be like this amazing Ferris Bueller's Day, and it just didn't work out like that.
Well, yeah, that's what you would always envision it being, but it would never turn out to be as exciting as that. All right. So we are out again, waiting for the game to wrap up.
So there's no kind of systems or sensor bots in place to prevent that from happening, huh?
What's that?
The frick you.
No. I've never seen it in this game, I would think. I have never seen anyone use it like that. I've seen like joke names with things added
like
on.
Even the joke ones are getting kind of like, I don't know if you can do FUKK either in a lot of programs.
Exactly. You'd think they'd have a code in there to block that stuff, but apparently something's missed here. I actually noticed while we were talking to Mega, and Kevin Bacon came on to stream, but he is in another room, so. Guys in the chat are talking about Kathleen Kennedy, our favorite Star Wars hero for Disney. Mega's talking about Blue Shogun. His the fan fiction that he's working on. Oh. You're a few seconds behind, but you guys are gonna see. Oh, so he smashed the car and the person able to get. Okay, so there's two characters. Tommy starts the car, tries to leave on the other person, hits the tree, and the other person gets in. Classic. Very classic.
What's up, cutie? Jason. Jason, you don't gotta take your anger out on us, Jason. Jason, please! Jason, please!
Oh, God.
Jason, come on, we're so nice!
So many people that are in this game. Need like a mass mute button. I've said it several times. Texan's got my next TechCom video planned, though I wish it was Resident Evil versus and Terminator crossover series I'm planning, but it's still a good one. The Face and Voices of Skynet. OG says they took Star Wars, the number one toy line with boys and men, and destroyed all male characters and their toy sales. Billions lost every year.
Well, Pete, I'm going to drop back down into the chat so you can have the rest of your stream flying solo.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Em, for joining me.
Hey, we should definitely talk to Bollocks about doing this.
We've got it. We've got it. I just have to get it figured out how all the icons can show up on screen, and then we're good to go.
Cool.
All right.
See you.
See you. All right, guys. We are back. We are here. We're listening to these guys. We had Mega Jetty and Mr. Matthews join me. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in to join the stream for a bit and the chat. It can only get better. It was good. I thought it was good. And it can only go up from that point and even get better. So I'm looking forward to more. Tech says, still no sign of Chad as a big dong. Have not seen him since, man. Haven't seen him. Mr. I says, I think the girl that played the face of Skynet was kind of cute. Was that in Gynesis? And that was the point. OG, they're attacking men and boys. They're attacking and destroying anything men and boys hold dear. Well, now it's just going to cost them, especially with everything that's going on with COVID, with CV, that Disney is struggling. And now, are they really going to go back to that same tact? Like, they're losing money on the movies. We'll see. Only time can tell. Are they going to learn? Looks like they're trying to kill Jason.
Jason, Mother is talking to you. Closer. Put the weapon. Oh my God! What happened?
Jason, you're so beautiful. No.
All right. Catching up on the chat again. Mr. Matthews says, that was exciting. Spooked my family out of the living room too. It's nice. I just checked my phone because Rebecca texted me while we were talking, and she said, why are we so insistent on ruining chocolate? Why are you guys so insistent on ruining chocolate? Mr. I says they even had a silly feminist group on Xbox called Gamer Girls. OG says they will now desperately need our money. You're not wrong. They're going to need it, but M has a point. I think they're too stupid to make the connection. They could just continue on doing the same thing, thinking everything's hunky-dory and everything's normal. Hopefully not. Text says, my Vittel's the whole original face and voice of Skynet was intended to be. Who it was intended to be. It's so simple and yet blown away. Will blow people's minds away. Inti says, he's running. Poor Jason. Jason was the innocent victim. He was, man. He really was. That's what this game has become. Jason is the damn victim. Oh God, that's that guy who was trash talking before. I'm going to leave the room and I'm just going to do an offline bot run because I'm probably going to wrap the stream up shortly. So we're going to do a couple offline bots, maybe just one. We'll see how fast it goes. We'll go to that one. Get some part 9 going. OG says, ignore them, M. Enjoy our old stuff and be certain of our eventual victory. To victory. OG says, M, how was it on air? And Mr. Matthew says, Rebecca, don't think of it as ruining chocolate. Think of it as improving pickles. That's the silver lining. That's the positive outlook. That is definitely the way to look at it, M. OG said Jason would be a great president. Depends on which Jason. Alright, let's go.
So young. So pretty. Kill them all, Jason.
And there you go, M. Congratulations, Ems. Thank you so much. You got Rebecca to talk in the chat. Pickles are also just fine how they are. Mr. I said they never really did anything. They just had a page and complained about sexism rather than playing games. And Mr. Matthew says, OG, I feel like a very big deal. All right, let's kill a couple counselors. Maybe 7 or 8 of them. And call it a night. There's Fox opening and closing the door. Yeah, that's it. Lock yourself in, Fox. Make sure you can't get out. OG says pickles are yummy. They sure are, man. I prefer like the sour ones. I'm definitely more of a sour pickle guy. The real deli stuff. But garlic dills aren't the worst either. Come back here, Shelly. Tech says, okay, big deal. Shows how good you are in Battlefront 2. And OG says, water off a duck's back, Mr. M. I just ignore them. Mr. I says, pickles and potato chips. Oh, together, like eating them, like having a pickle and then some chips on the side? That's a good deal. I'm not going to say no to that combo. Why are the two of them together? 2 for 1 right here. Yeah. Why can't I do it? Too late, Deborah. Too late. And Megatech says never could get into pickles. Mr. I says I like the big pickles from out of the barrel. I like the big sour dills as well.
Yes. Kill for mother.
We have a couple good delis up here in Canada. I thought I heard a sound coming out of that. But no, one of the famous delis in Montreal, some of the famous delis are known for their Montreal smoked meat, and they usually have good pickles there too. So yeah, I knew somebody was in there. There's one deli that I still can get here in the grocery store I buy there. It's called Moshi's, and their pickles are great.
That's my Jason. That's my special boy.
OG says, oh, well, Kathy started a single chat. Now she's in most of my videos. Tech says, by the way, I watched the entire playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Anyone else here see it or play it? I haven't played it yet, but I have seen some playthrough. That's another hard one, because I played that a lot. That was like my PlayStation game. Along with a lot of other people, I'll fully admit, I'm not alone in that. Sorry, I love this kill, that's why I keep doing it. That's one of my favorite kills in the game. Mr. Matthews says, but there's already pickle-flavored potato chips. There are. Dill pickle's the best. I could chocolate dip dill pickle chips as well. But I would have to get more chocolate and chips for that. But I have the pickles, and I have the chocolate. So. I sense a live stream. I keep suggesting Rebecca appear on a live stream with reacting to me doing stuff, not necessarily eating gross pickles and chocolate, but I would do that. But I mean like playing games and stuff like that. Actually, we were playing Intellivision Lives last week actually on the Xbox, because I love the Intellivision. That's another retro system. I forgot when I mentioned the Atari. I love the Intellivision along with that. My buddy had an Intellivision when we were really young. And played that a lot. But we were playing the game from Xbox, playing on the 360. So I said I should do a stream. I should stream it, that we could play the games together. But I'll keep trying. Tech says, do you want me to risk spoiling it? OG says, nice kill. And Mr. I says, Final Fantasy IX was my favorite. Final Fantasy VII was too blocky. 9 was really good. 9 was really good. But there was something about the story of 7. I don't know. Sephiroth. Sorry, my voice cracks way too much to do that joke anymore. Mr. Ice says, Symphony of the Night for PS1 was good too. Oops. Let's go over here. We'll get this person. There we go. Dead. 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 M says Symphony of the Night is one of my all-time faves. Get this, I like it much better than Super Metroid. Yep, I went there. I haven't played Symphony of the Night enough. I need to go back and play a lot of that era of games because there was so much at that time. Oh, Victoria is here. Whoa! And Tech says, can I talk about the ending? What ending are you talking about? Mr. I says, I think the protagonist was Dracula's son, Alucard. Yep, Dracula spelled backwards. OG says, I'm going to have a late night coffee in honor of Brent. That's the way to go. Way to be, OG. Way to be. Where are you going, Victoria? Victoria, where are you going? Oh, the ending for Final Fantasy VII. Nah, just hold off on it, man. Some people here might still want to play it or check it out. Mr. Matthew says he was, it's true. OG says, wake up, Brent. Wake up, Brent. Wake up, Brent. Who do we got left? We got Tommy and Tiffany. I gotta wait till I get Rage to be able to see these people. If they're hiding. Mr. Matthew says, you should have sardines too for Brent. If I had some, I would have them, man. I like sardines. I like sardines. I like herring, all kippered meat. Mr. I says, oh my god, the original Metroid though, I spent so many hours on that game. I had the map book for it. Oh yes, the map books. Those were the best. They're the strategy guides. I know strategy guides are still a thing and you can still get them. But strat guides were the best. Mr. Matthews says, I think I played Metroid 2 more than 1 or 3. I would probably have to say 1 out of those 3. And Inti says, Justin Bailey. Oh, there's somebody. Come here, Tommy. Mr. I says, yes, but back in the day, strategy guides were like gold. They really were. They really were. I think we talked about that on here before, like strat guides and stuff like that. It might have been a previous week that you weren't with us, Mr. I, but we've talked about it. And one of my gripes were with the guides were when they were wrong. You would buy the Nintendo Power, or you would buy that book from the arcade, from the bookstore, or you'd even rent it from the library, and the cheat would be wrong, or the tip would be wrong. I remember that clearly with some games. Tommy's caught. Sorry, Tommy. Second pocket knife. Mr. I says, yeah, one gun mucho play on the NES. Nope, Tommy's over there. Inti says 3 would be Super Metroid. Mr. I says, my palms used to be sweaty from playing that game so much. Whoops. And he's hiding. I think he went underneath the bed. Yep. Why hide with Tommy Jarvis? Why? But it's a bot. You can't really blame them. They're stupid. Oh look, a Vanessa. A Vanessa that's been hunted and killed. Tex says, remember the old April Fool's Resident Evil Akuma run? They should have made that a remake for that. Or made that for the remake. Alright, let's go up here and check these cabins. Oh, found it right away, guys. Sheng Long was the best April Fool's. Really, Auntie. Agreed. And Johnny says... Oh, no. Johnny's message was retracted. All good, though. Mr. I says, dude, they used to have a Nightmare on Elm Street board game. I do remember that. Actually, on this week on my video, my weekly video, The Bits and Pieces, I was talking about the Friday the 13th board game that's coming out. I'd seen that before. This time I decided to talk about it. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be pre-ordering that as soon as I can find information on it. It's supposed to come out this summer. Might get delayed with everything going on, though. And Johnny says, wish I had honey mustard pickle and chips right now. Honey mustard pickles and chips. Oh yeah, the like mustard pickles, those are pretty good. I've had that before. At first I was kind of like, but it kind of goes well. Like, and the relish that's made with it as well. Come here, Tiffany. Really? Gotcha. What the? Second pocket knife? Mr. I says you play board games. Awesome. Oh yeah, man. Board games are fantastic. I'm going to buy that Friday the 13th board game and probably have it on here on a Friday. I'll work it into a video some way. Mr. I says I'm a huge board gamer. Nice. We've talked board games here for a while. I was whoa. Let's come here, Tiffany. Oh. Not the way to be. Come here. There we go. One more. One more, Mr. I says. Oh, I think I already read that one. Sorry. That you're a huge board gamer. I know I should. I've never heard of that one, the Evil Dead 2 board game. To be honest, I'm not fully up to speed in recent years. But I will check that one out. But I usually keep my eye out for horror-related board games. So for that one to slip by me, I'm going to check it out. All right, guys. And look up Tabletop on YouTube. Tabletop on YouTube. A board game channel, probably. Now that we're here, let me look right before we sign off. Nope. Nice. I will check it out. Will Wheaton hosts it and plays board games? I will check it out. Text says I have the Star Wars Trivia Pursuit game from around the time Phantom Menace came out. It was OT centric, but came with a few Phantom Menace cards for anticipation of the film. And Mr. Matthews says you should try what I've seen some other board and card game channels do. Top-down camera over the game with some friends and do your own play-by-play commentary over it. I could totally try that. Rebecca, if you're still listening, maybe we'll be playing some board games. And then I'll commentate over top of it. Anyway, guys. Mr. I says, watch one he has called Resistance and Betrayal at a House on the Hill. Alright. Let me find that one before we sign off. Oops, that's not the one. Well, you guys can't hear what if I'm clicking on stuff. But I will check that out. Alright, folks. That is it for this Friday. Thank you so much for joining me on Friday as always. Off the top we had OG and then everybody else came in with us. I think we had Gamer Guru off the top as well, but we've got the whole crew here. Mr. Matthews, Mega Jetty, Inty Bird, OG again. Mr. I now joins us. Second week in a row. Welcome and thank you for coming. Johnny is with us again. Whoever else is here. A Nerd was here along the night, but there might be some other people that are here that aren't in the chat. They're just watching. Thank you so much as always for supporting. I appreciate it. And what else can I say? We'll see you next Friday night. So let's put up the right thing. Look at that, guys. We're on this. We're on this. Johnny says, does Joe Bob come back next week? He does. He does, Johnny. Before I sign off, he's back next week. He's got a special guest. Chris Jericho is going to be with him. I did it this week on my bits and pieces. I talked about it. So it's going to be Joe Bob, Chris Jericho. He's picking the movie, and Darcy. All right, guys. Take it easy. And have a good night. And I'll talk to you.